Imagine a world where virtual gaming elements have merged with reality. New professions have sprung up everywhere, and people can switch their jobs to gain more powerful abilities. There are countless ruins, dungeons, and mysterious realms to explore. But here's the kicker. The world is overrun with dangerous monsters that can kill you before you even think about escaping. But don't fret. By hunting these monsters, people can gain experience points, collect materials, and even snag some epic equipment to strengthen themselves. As fearsome as these monsters are, they pale in comparison to the awe-inspiring dragons. Mysterious and rare, these dragons are as powerful as deities. Now let's zoom in on the third school of the Dragon Kingdom. The teacher is enthusiastically slapping the board, announcing that the junior year section 25 profession awakening orientation is happening. He tells the students that the upcoming profession awakening ceremony won't just affect their university entrance exams. It could shape their entire future success. Some students are goofing off, while others are hanging on every word. The teacher mentions that in theory, the result of the profession awakening is random, but he encourages everyone to have confidence. With strong determination, each of them could awaken a combative profession. Among the students sits a guy with long hair covering his eyes. He's looking down at a paper that says they're taking the profession awakening aptitude test. He smiles, knowing his day has finally come. Meet Lu Fan, a guy who transmigrated to this world from a place called Blue Planet 3 years ago. Over these 3 years, Lu Fan has gotten a pretty good grasp of how this world works. There are tons of professions, but they can be roughly split into 3 types. 1. Combative professionals, warriors, mages, archers, you name it. They have powerful abilities they use to explore unknown realms, grab epic loot, and earn generous rewards. No wonder they're the most coveted. 2. Reinforcing professionals, enchanters, alchemists, and so on. They can create special items with powerful effects. But here's the catch. Materials are pricey, so without a wealthy family backing them, nurturing their talent is tough. 3. Subsistence professions, chefs, herbalists, miners, etc. These are the everyday heroes, the backbone of society. Lu Fan's aunt, Han Ku, is one such hero. She's a chef who works tirelessly every day at her small steam bun shop to support Lu Fan's education. Even though she's only 8 years older than him, she selflessly takes care of him. Determined to survive in this world and give his aunt a better life, Lu Fan is set on awakening as a combative professional. Suddenly, the teacher's phone rings. He hurriedly tells the class that the awakening platform is ready. The ceremony is about to begin. The class erupts in cheers. Everyone rushes towards the awakening platform, but Lu Fan stays seated in the corner. The teacher approaches, concerned. He thinks Lu Fan, being the top student, has nothing to worry about. But Lu Fan has a different reason for his hesitation. Out of nowhere, he suddenly awakens a system. The Super Treasure Map system. He's a bit confused, but before he can figure it out, the teacher snaps him back to reality by slamming the desk. Seeing the teacher's worried face, Lu Fan assures him everything's fine and dashes off towards the awakening platform. As he runs, he thinks about how typical it is for a transmigrator to get a system. He decides to figure it out later. Right now, the awakening ceremony is more important. When the students reach the awakening platform, they're awestruck by the massive crystal in the center used for the ceremony. Nervous energy fills the air. The teacher tells everyone to keep calm. As Lu Fan mingles with the crowd, he overhears someone dreaming about awakening a hidden combative profession and becoming admired by millions. His friend quickly brings him back to Earth, reminding him how rare that is. Most are just hoping not to end up with a subsistence profession. The Grandmaster steps onto the podium, announcing the start of the ceremony. He signals to a priest who's hosting this year's awakening. The students are blown away by the priest's domineering aura, wishing they could reach that power level someday. Lu Fan is equally impressed. Suddenly, his system pops up again, and he discovers he's acquired a new skill, the Eye of Appraisal. Curious, he uses it on the priest and learns he's a level 29 professional with the skill of Professional Awakening and a net worth of 5 million dragon coins. Lu Fan is absolutely floored. Just as the excitement was reaching its peak, the headmaster suddenly shouted for everyone to be quiet. The awakening ceremony was starting. He told the students to come up to the stage as soon as their names were called. Meanwhile, Lu Fan was lost in thought. He realized that even if his aunt sold buns for their entire lives, she'd never earn as much as that wealthy priest they saw earlier. The headmaster began calling out names one by one. First up was Zhang Tao, the top student in their section. Lu Fan wondered if Zhang Tao would awaken as a combative professional. The students were buzzing, saying that with his insanely high attributes, he was definitely going to awaken something powerful. Even though awakenings are supposed to be random, everyone knew that higher attributes usually gave you better chances. All the girls were swooning over Zhang Tao, telling him they loved him and all that jazz. As Zhang Tao stepped onto the stage, the priest started chanting spells. The awakening crystal began to glow, and suddenly, a fireball emerged from it. Zhang Tao had awakened as a pyromancer. Everyone was stunned. Having a pyromancer among them was huge. The students were envious. Zhang Tao now had a bright future ahead of him. He smirked and conjured a fireball in his hand, making the girls go even crazier, screaming and asking him out on dates. Seeing this, Lu Fan realized that if he could awaken as a combative professional, he could kiss his struggles goodbye. The headmaster, annoyed by all the chatter, yelled at everyone to be quiet and called the next student to the stage. As the ceremony continued, most students ended up with professions like herbalist, tailor, miner, you name it. Lu Fan was witnessing firsthand that combative professions were rare, and the majority would end up with subsistence professions. Awakening as a combative professional meant unlimited possibilities, while subsistence professions pretty much destined you to an ordinary life. A student ahead of Lu Fan mentioned that even awakening as a subsistence profession was still a decent outcome. They pointed out Li Ping from Section 3. Her family was already struggling, and she awakened as a reinforcing professional, which requires a lot of money to develop. For her, it might have been better to awaken as a subsistence professional to gain some specialized skills. Hearing this, Lu Fan started to get nervous. His family wasn't well off either, and if he ended up with a reinforcing profession, he'd be in a tough spot. Just then, the headmaster called his name, urging him to get up on the platform. As Lu Fan walked towards the pedestal, all the girls started noticing how handsome he was. They wondered what profession he'd awaken. He reached the crystal and thought, no point in being nervous now. He placed his hands on the crystal, and the priest began chanting again. Suddenly, Lu Fan had a vision of a red dragon glaring at him, with burning yellow eyes. Meanwhile, the ground started shaking. Everyone was freaking out, not knowing what was happening. Golden light beamed from the awakening crystal, surrounding Lu Fan completely. Then, a dragon materialized out of the light. Students and teachers alike were shocked. This kind of phenomenon only happened when someone awakened a hidden profession. A female teacher congratulated Teacher Li, saying his section had produced the first hidden professional in the school. Teacher Li was thrilled. If Lu Fan awakened as the strongest hidden professional like Dragon Blood Warrior or Dragon Language Mage, he could become a powerhouse in the Dragon Kingdom and make history. They hadn't seen someone awaken as a Dragon Blood Warrior in 10 years. The dragon looked at Lu Fan and let out a mighty roar. The impact was so intense that students covered their ears to protect themselves. As the dragon flew away and disappeared, the headmaster rushed over to Lu Fan. He excitedly asked if Lu Fan had awakened as a Dragon Blood Warrior or Dragon Language Mage. But to everyone's surprise, Lu Fan sighed and told the headmaster that he had become a Dragon Tamer. The entire place went silent. Everyone was in shock. The headmaster couldn't believe it. He screamed at Lu Fan, along with some of the students, saying that Dragon Tamer was the most worthless profession ever in history. After the awakening ceremony wrapped up, we find Lu Fan strolling through the old town of Jianghai City. His system interface is popping up on the side. He's now a level 10 Dragon Tamer with a skill that allows him to tame dragons and dragon-like creatures. He checks his net worth, which is just 239 dragon coins. Not exactly rolling in dough. Flashbacks from the ceremony keep hitting him. The students and teachers couldn't believe he awakened as a Dragon Tamer. They all thought he was destined to be mediocre because, let's face it, who can actually tame dragons? These creatures are insanely powerful and dangerous. Even though Lu Fan awakened a hidden profession, it was considered the weakest in terms of practical use. Some students were clueless and asked why the Dragon Tamer was seen as the weakest, especially when it's one of the three major hidden professions alongside Dragon Blood Warrior and Dragon Language Mage. Another student explained that most people never even see a dragon, let alone tame one. And if they did find one, there's no way they could tame it due to their ferocious nature. The headmaster was disappointed but tried to comfort Lu Fan. He patted him on the shoulder, saying that even if it's the weakest, a dragon tamer is still a hidden profession with boundless potential. He hoped that maybe Lu Fan could tame some sub-dragon species and become stronger. But Lu Fan knew better. Without a real dragon, a dragon tamer can't reach that potential. Sub-dragon species are just ferocious beasts, not even close to the real deal. We learned that in the 800-year history of the Dragon Kingdom, dragons have appeared, but a dragon tamer who has actually tamed one? Never happened. No matter how powerful humans are, they're like ants compared to a dragon's might. Lu Fan realized that wanting to tame a giant dragon was just an unrealistic dream. He glanced at his system window. His skills were all locked because he hadn't tamed a dragon yet. Feeling down, he thought about his aunt, who's been working so hard to support his education. He couldn't even provide her with a better life now. Lost in thought, Lu Fan suddenly found himself in front of his house without even realizing he'd walked there. He shook off his gloomy mood, plastered on a fake smile, and opened the door, announcing his return. Now let me tell you, his Aunt Han Ku is something else. The moment she saw him, she immediately leaped onto him, hugging him tightly. She was so happy to see him back. She asked how his day went, knowing it was supposed to be a fantastic day for him. She wanted to know what profession he awakened. Lu Fan felt a pang of disappointment in himself. But before he could say anything, his aunt quickly reassured him. She said it was okay if he didn't awaken a combat profession. She'd actually be worried if he was out there fighting dangerous battles every day. But Lu Fan interrupted her, saying loudly that he did awaken a combat profession. He became a dragon tamer. But the problem was, he couldn't do anything without taming a dragon. Hearing this, his aunt was overjoyed. She told him it didn't matter if he was a dragon tamer without a dragon. It still showed that he was really strong. She stood up and hugged him again, saying that if he gets into college in the future, she'll continue to support him. She even gave him the option that if he didn't want to go to college, he could join her in running the steam bun shop instead. Touched by her words, Lu Fan felt tears welling up. His aunt noticed and told him not to worry too much. The dinner was getting cold. He finally looked at the feast she'd prepared, realizing he couldn't finish it all by himself. After dinner, Lu Fan collapsed onto his bed. He thought about how, even though his aunt was only 26 years old, she'd been working in a labor-intensive job for years. He remembered her hands full of cuts and bruises, regretting that he couldn't change her ordinary life. He wanted to give her a better life, but how could he do that if he didn't do something as a dragon tamer? Frustrated, he punched his bed multiple times. If only I had a dragon, he thought. With a dragon, being a dragon tamer would really mean something, but he had no idea where to even find one. So, just when things were looking bleak, Lu Fan gets a notification from his system, congratulating him on receiving his first day's treasure map. He checks it out, and guess what? It's a divine-level treasure map on his very first day. Talk about luck. He suddenly remembers that his system is called the Super Treasure Map System. Back at the awakening ceremony, he only tried the appraisal function and hadn't even explored the treasure map feature. Curious, he taps on the treasure map icon. The system explains that treasure maps are classified into 4 categories: beginner, intermediate, advanced, and divine level. Oh, and get this. The system can combine 3 identical low-level treasure maps into one higher-level map. Another notification pops up, telling Lu Fan that every day he'll receive a randomly graded and randomly located treasure map. Plus, as long as he reaches the location, he can find treasures related to his corresponding profession. Wait a minute. Treasures related to his profession? That means Lu Fan might actually find a dragon and truly become a dragon tamer. He realizes that if he makes good use of his system, he could bridge the gap between being the weakest and the strongest. This divine-level treasure map might just be his last hope to turn things around. Determined, Lu Fan clicks on the divine treasure map. A big regional map pops up, showing that the treasure is located at Mount Shur Basin. He knows it's not too far from Jianghai City, and if he catches the last suburban bus tonight, he'll arrive there early in the morning. Fast forward to the next morning. Lu Fan's aunt wakes up, yawning in her nightdress. She turns on the light and notices a note on the dining table. She looks into Lu Fan's room, but he's not there. Meanwhile, we see a bus winding through the mountains. His aunt reads the letter, which says he's gone to Mount Shur Basin to do something that might be his only chance to change his fate as a dragon tamer. He tells her not to worry and that he'll return soon. Back to Lu Fan. He steps off the bus, and a few sketchy individuals are trailing behind him. Oblivious to them, he's determined to make a better life for himself and his aunt, no matter what. He looks around the outskirts of Mount Shur Basin, which looks pretty barren. Suddenly, someone bumps into his backpack. He turns around to see a muscular guy and a petite girl eyeing him suspiciously. Lu Fan jumps back and grips his weapon, ready for anything. Then, an old man with an eye patch grabs his shoulder from behind, asking if he'd like to join them. Lu Fan quickly shakes off the man's hand, telling them he doesn't need any companions. He suspects they're dungeon robbers. The girl pulls out a knife and suggests he rethink his decision. The eye patch man warns him that it's dangerous to be alone in the wilderness at night. Sizing them up, Lu Fan realizes they've probably been robbing and stealing materials for a while. Dealing with someone as powerless as him would be a piece of cake for them. Not wanting any trouble, he lies and says he's a summoner who doesn't need companions because he can summon elemental creatures if things get dangerous. Surprised by his answer, the group decides to back off. The eye patch man says that if Lu Fan's a summoner, their concerns are unnecessary. The girl gives him a sly smile, whispering that she hopes they'll meet again, calling him handsome and blowing him a kiss. Lu Fan's a bit flustered but relieved they're leaving. He thinks to himself that, yeah, the wilderness is dangerous, but it's way safer than getting stabbed in the back by dungeon robbers. Realizing that without strength, life is pretty fragile, he checks his system map and decides to move quickly. As he ventures deeper, he spots a herd of power horn horses, level 8 creatures with immense strength, grazing peacefully in an open field. He knows they won't attack unless disturbed, so he carefully takes a detour to avoid them. Even though the detour makes his journey longer, he doesn't feel safe at all. He soon encounters a group of giant horn antelopes. Moving slowly and cautiously, he accidentally steps on a frog he didn't see, which croaks loudly in pain. Oh! The antelopes turn their attention to Lu Fan, clearly irritated by the disturbance. Before he knows it, they're chasing him. He runs as fast as he can, hoping to escape. Spotting a flat area beside him, he dives toward it, crashing onto the ground, but managing to evade the stampede. Catching his breath, he realizes he couldn't even handle a timid giant horn antelope in his current state. He thinks, if I miss this opportunity today, my fate might end up like that poor frog. Just then, a notification pops up. He's arrived at the designated treasure map location. Ahead, he sees 2 giant rocks with a faint red glow emanating from behind them. This matches the treasure map's indication. He walks into the cave formed by the rocks and spots a huge pitch-black egg that's starting to crack. Could it be? Yes, it's a dragon egg. This could be the game changer he needs. His system pops up, confirming it's a black dragon egg of an unidentified level. Hearing the cracking sounds, he knows the dragon is about to hatch. But suddenly, he hears rustling from the tall grass behind him. On high alert, Lu Fan grips his cleaver. He realizes that while things had gone smoothly so far, he couldn't escape the notice of a wild beast. He turns around and slashes at the approaching creature. It's a bloodthirsty gray fox. The fox catches his cleaver in its sharp canines, snarling fiercely. It howls and lunges at him with all its might. Lu Fan manages to deflect it, throwing the creature to the ground. He takes a few deep breaths, trying to recover his stamina. Using his appraisal skill, he sees that the bloodthirsty gray fox has some nasty abilities. Triple Claw Strike and Bloodthirst Recovery. It can hit you 3 times in a row, make you bleed, and then heal itself by absorbing your blood. Glancing back at the dragon egg that's about to hatch, Lu Fan realizes he doesn't have much time or the skills to deal with this creature. He thinks maybe he can stall the fox until the dragon hatches and then use his dragon taming ability. But the fox isn't giving him any time. It leaps into the air, ready to attack. Instinctively, Lu Fan raises his arm to defend himself. He realizes the fox is too fast, and he can't wait for the dragon to hatch. The fox's sharp claws slice into his arm, and he knows he can't let it use its bloodthirst recovery. He has to act fast. The fox goes for its triple claw strike. He's already taken 1 hit. 2 more to go. Lu Fan blocks the second strike with his cleaver and somehow dodges the third by moving to the side. Now's his chance. Summoning all his strength, Lu Fan slams his cleaver straight into the fox's head. Blood splatters everywhere as the creature collapses. He pulls his cleaver out, panting heavily. A notification pops up. You have defeated a bloodthirsty gray fox and gained 120 experience points. Yes, he did it. So, Lu Fan is catching his breath after taking down that bloodthirsty gray fox. Feeling a mix of exhaustion and relief, he's finally calm, until 3 shadows loom behind him. He hears laughter and turns to see those sketchy robbers from before. They're clapping and complimenting him on taking down the beast. But Lu Fan isn't buying their friendly act. He takes a defensive stance and tells them to back off. He's not joining their shady group. The girl in the group chuckles, telling him there's no need to be so nervous. She hints that they know he lied about being a summoner. The eye patch guy pipes up, reminding Lu Fan that he claimed to be a summoner, but didn't use any summoning skills and still got injured by a mere monster. Oh, they figured him out? Realizing he's been caught in his lie, Lu Fan tries to play it cool. He kicks the fox's body toward them, saying, "If you want the fox fur, take it and leave me alone." The eye patch man laughs, picking up the fur. "This is only worth 80 dragon coins," he says. "We're after something way bigger." Wait a second. They're after the divine treasure too. Lu Fan's heart skips a beat. He glances back, and sure enough, the muscular guy and the girl are eyeing the dragon egg. Before he can react, the muscular dude charges at him, throwing a punch with all his might. Lu Fan is sent flying, his cleaver knocked out of his hand. He crashes to the ground a few meters away, dazed. When he opens his eyes, the girl is on top of him, her knife pressed against his throat. "Don't move," she warns, "or you'll get cut." The eye patch man smirks. "You underestimated the dungeon robber's sense of smell for treasures," he taunts. Meanwhile, the muscular guy calls out, "Hey, check out what I found!" He's standing next to the dragon egg. Lu Fan watches in horror as his plan unravels. The eye patch man, thrilled, orders the girl, "Finish him off." She looks at Lu Fan with a sly grin. "You're handsome, but it's time to say goodbye," she says. But Lu Fan isn't giving up that easily. He notices the dragon egg is starting to hatch. This is his chance. Suddenly, the egg cracks open, and something shoots out into the sky. Everyone looks up, stunned. A giant dragon silhouette hovers above them. They have no idea what just hatched, but they know it's big trouble. The dragon dives toward the robbers. The eye patch guy frantically throws some kind of potion at it, but the dragon dodges effortlessly. The muscular guy tries to punch it. Bad move. The dragon opens its jaws and unleashes a ferocious attack, incinerating him on the spot. The eye patch man is frozen in fear as he sees his buddy's lifeless body. The dragon turns its gaze to him, and he knows he's next. He screams for help, but the girl is just as terrified. She lowers the knife from Lu Fan's throat. Seizing the opportunity, Lu Fan shoves her aside. "You guys really picked the wrong target," he shouts. He sprints toward the dragon. The dragon looks a bit confused but doesn't attack him. Lu Fan yells, "Dragon taming technique." A yellow light glows from his hands. Even the dragon seems surprised. As he touches the dragon, the girl stammers, Who are you?" Lu Fan turns and smirks. "Oh, now you're curious," he says. "I'm not just a summoner. I'm a dragon tamer." A notification pops up. Black Dragon Covenant has been tamed by Lu Fan. The Black Dragon now has skills like Dragon Claw, Dragon Fang Strike, and Dragon's Inspiration. It leaps toward the girl. Panicking, she starts babbling apologies. "I didn't know it was a dragon egg. I'm sorry." But Lu Fan isn't having any of it. "For scheming against innocent people, you can join your buddies," he says coldly. He orders the dragon, "Finish her." After the dust settles, Lu Fan sits on a cliff, bandaging his injured hand. The dragon rummages through his bag, curious as ever. He picks up the dragon, hardly believing his luck. Holding it up like a proud parent, he says, "You're way too lively." He's amazed at how powerful the dragon is right after hatching. "If you're this strong now, imagine when you level up," he exclaims. He hugs his new companion tightly. The title of Dragon Tamer won't be called the weakest class anymore. But then he pauses. "What should I name you?" he wonders. "Little Coalball? Nah. Black Diamond? Too cheesy." As he's thinking, he notices the dragon licking his wounds. Suddenly, a red aura surrounds the creature. The dragon opens its elegant wings, and before he knows it, it starts transforming. In a flash, standing before him is a magnificent girl with a long tail and 2 beautiful wings. Wait, what? All right, folks, plot twist. The dragon just turned into a girl. Looks like Lu Fan's adventure just got a whole lot more interesting. All hail the waifu tamer. Things are about to heat up. So, get this. Lu Fan is absolutely stunned when his newly hatched dragon suddenly transforms into a human form. Yep, you heard that right. He realizes that his dragon can also shapeshift into a human. The dragon girl doesn't understand human language yet, so she just nods along to whatever Lu Fan is saying, kind of like an adorable, clueless kid. She's behaving like a total child, flying around here and there, while Lu Fan checks out his newly unlocked skills. And trust me, they're awesome. First off, there's dragon taming, which lets him tame dragon-like creatures. Pretty handy, right? Then there's Dragon Claw, which transforms his arm into a dragon's claw, and its strength depends on his current dragon pet. Next up is Dragon Fang Strike. which channels dragon energy to deliver a powerful blow. And last but not least, Dragon Inspiration, which boosts both him and his dragon pet's attributes and attack power by 30%. We find out that the black dragon he tamed is actually a legendary creature. Lu Fan realizes that now that he's successfully tamed a dragon, all his skills have been unlocked. He quickly understands that he could easily crush other combat professionals at his level. Curious, he clicks on the black dragon's profile, and her stats pop up. Get this. The dragon has a strength of 342, agility of 267, spirit of 359, and endurance of 373. Talk about overpowered. She has multiple attacks, including Mighty Jaw Assault, which lets her charge forward and tear into targets, causing continuous bleeding damage. Then there's Lava Flame, which continuously spews flames, dealing damage while healing herself. She also has Black Dragon Heritage, which reduces all damage taken by 50%, grants immunity to all debuffs, and increases her self-recovery ability by 500%. And as if that wasn't enough, she has a special skill called Bloodline Connection, which provides a 10% attribute bonus to Lu Fan himself. Lu Fan is absolutely blown away by how powerful this dragon hatchling is. Even at level 1, she's got these insane skills and nearly 400 points in various attributes. He realizes that even a skilled human expert 20 levels higher wouldn't stand a chance against him now. What's even better is that the Bloodline Connection directly doubles all of Lu Fan's attributes. He finally understands that this is why he feels so much stronger after taming the legendary Black Dragon. Overjoyed, Lu Fan thinks to himself, "This is exactly what I'd expect from one of the 3 strongest hidden professions." He realizes that no matter how strong other hidden professions are, they don't stand a chance against the dragon race. Without a doubt, the Dragon Tamer is indeed the strongest hidden profession, not the weakest like everyone thought. Just then, he notices the dragon girl munching on the eggshell she hatched from. He figures that even though she can transform into a human, she still behaves like a newborn dragon. But there's still one important question. What should he name her? Suddenly, inspiration strikes. Since she's a little black dragon born just before dawn, he decides to name her Xiaoyi. When he tells her, she beams with delight and gives him the cutest smile. Lu Fan is thrilled that she likes her new name. Feeling happy that all the danger was worth it, he pats her head and asks if she's hungry. Xiaoyi looks up at him and nods with that same adorable smile, finishing off the remaining eggshells. Lu Fan tells her it's time to go hunt some monsters to fill her belly. They can't go back home on empty stomachs, right? He stands up, smiling, thinking about the upcoming trial that determines whether he can enter the university. Many students are out there honing their skills, seeking opportunities. The prestigious Southern Province's Top Scholar Award and a spot in the highest educational institution in the Dragon Kingdom are now within his reach. But he knows he can't take the entrance lightly. Leveling up and mastering skills should be his top priority for both him and Xiaoyi. With renewed determination, Lu Fan starts running, and Xiaoyi follows closely, smiling as well. He tells her they're heading deeper into Mount Shur Basin. There are monsters there even tastier than eggshells. As they advance, they suddenly hear some noises. A group of creatures is sprinting toward them at insane speeds. Lu Fan quickly pulls up his system interface, which identifies them as plains hyenas. These beasts have an attack called Rending Bite, which inflicts continuous bleeding damage, and Putrefaction, which gives a disease debuff. On the bright side, if they defeat them, they'll drop canine teeth worth 95 dragon coins each. So, Lu Fan realized that these hyenas were way more dangerous and tougher than that bloodthirsty gray fox he fought earlier. Remember, even though he defeated that fox, he got pretty banged up in the process. So naturally, he's a bit hesitant to take on these new threats. But guess what? Xiaoyi, our awesome dragon girl, isn't one to back down. She's already airborne with a devilish grin, clearly excited about getting some new snacks. Lu Fan understands that she wants to take the lead this time. His eyes light up with confidence as he thinks. Mount Shur Basin holds no danger for the strongest dragon tamer and his dragon. Both Lu Fan and Xiaoyi are grinning as they advance toward the plains hyenas, ready to send them straight into Xiaoyi's stomach for lunch. The dragon soars high, and as the hyenas roar, she takes a deep breath. Her stomach starts glowing with a fiery aura. Then, bam, she unleashes her lava flame attack, and the hyenas are engulfed in flames. As the creatures burn, Lu Fan and Xiaoyi rack up experience points. With each lava flame she hurls, Lu Fan keeps an eye on the system, watching their levels soar. Lu Fan hits level 11, and Xiao Yi reaches level 3. Smiling, he tells Xiao Yi not to waste any more time on these small fries. They turn their attention to a den inside the mountain. Lu Fan tells Xiao Yi that a big guy has been waiting for them. Suddenly, 3 sets of eyes glare at them from the darkness. The creature steps out. It's got 3 heads, each oozing with killing intent. It's none other than the 3-headed blood lion, a level 25 beast. This lion-like monster has multiple attacks, including Roar, which boosts its defense and attack power, Trample, dealing massive damage in its target range, and Triple Flame, which inflicts 3 instances of fire area damage. Defeating this beast will net them a whopping 23,790 experience points and drop valuable materials like Blood Lion's Tooth and Blood Lion Skin. Lu Fan knows that normally, taking on a level 25 elite boss would require a strong team of monster hunters. But hey, he's a dragon tamer now. He can handle anything. He orders Xiao Yi to engage the 3-headed lion in battle. As they advance, the lion uses Roar, boosting its stats, and starts charging up its heavy attack, Triple Flame. Lu Fan realizes this attack takes some time to charge. He tells Xiao Yi to coordinate with him to interrupt the lion's skill. Xiao Yi's body becomes engulfed in flames, and Lu Fan grips his cleaver tightly. They both leap toward the lion. Xiao Yi transforms back into her original dragon form and uses Mighty Jaw Assault. She closes the gap in an instant, biting one of the lion's heads and grabbing the other 2 with her sharp claws. The system notifies Lu Fan that the Triple Flame attack was successfully interrupted. He praises Xiao Yi for her excellent work. Seizing the moment, Lu Fan charges in and unleashes Dragon Fang Strike, channeling Dragon Aura to deliver a powerful blow with his weapon. With this final attack, the 3-headed blood lion falls. Both Lu Fan and Xiao Yi land back on the ground. Xiao Yi transforms back into her human form. Lu Fan is thrilled, realizing that taking down elite monsters helps them level up super quickly. He's now at level 14, and Xiao Yi has jumped to level 9. Suddenly, a system notification pops up. The treasure map system has been triggered, and a new treasure map for the day has been sent to him. A sly smile spreads across Lu Fan's face as he wonders what exclusive item for dragon tamers this new treasure will lead them to. He turns to Xiao Yi and says, "Ready for some treasure hunting?" She immediately nods with a big smile. Now, shifting scenes deep within Mount Shur Basin, we meet a group of 3 people. A blue-haired girl asks her uncle if they should really let such a rare opportunity slip away. Her uncle, Sun Gu, replies that they don't have a choice. Sun Gu is a warrior, and he explains that the fortuitous realm requires at least 5 people to activate, and they simply don't have enough. He suggests sending Miss Kai back to Jianghai City to bring more people. But Miss Kai, who is a rogue, interrupts him. She points out that even with her agility, a round trip would take a full day. We learn that the blue-haired girl is Qin Xiu, though her profession remains a mystery for now. She tells the group that fortuitous realms appear randomly and offer rewards greater than regular dungeons. However, they only exist for 24 hours, so Sun Ji's plan wouldn't work in time before the realm disappears. Sun Gu tries to cheer her up, saying that if she gets into one of the top 10 universities, she'll have plenty of opportunities to explore secret realms. But Qin Xiu isn't having it. She's so close to this amazing opportunity. Suddenly, Sun Gu and Miss Kai hear a noise. They spin around, ready to fight, but it's just our guy Lu Fan, casually passing by. Sun Gu is shocked to see such a young dude this deep in the mountains. He warns Lu Fan that this isn't a place for leisurely exploring and suggests he head back. But before he can finish, Qin Xiu steps in. She introduces herself and tells Lu Fan that they're from the Qin family in Jianghai City. She knows it's a bit sudden, but she asks if he'd be willing to team up with them temporarily. And get this, she offers him 100,000 dragon coins just to join them in the secret realm of chance. All he has to do is enter with them. He doesn't even have to lift a finger. Hearing that hefty reward, Lu Fan stops in his tracks. He's thinking, if the Qin family, the richest family in Jianghai City, is after this secret realm, then the final reward must be something really special. Qin Xiu continues, explaining that they just need him to meet the required number of people. He won't have to do anything else, and will still get paid. The scene shifts a bit, and we see that the group had already found a paladin to join them, but they were still one person short. Sun Gu starts heading toward a huge, purplish portal that leads to the secret realm. He tells Lu Fan to hurry up if he wants the reward, mentioning that opportunities like this don't come around every day. Lu Fan smiles and tells them that he's not really interested in money. Instead, he's willing to help if they can agree to cooperate and follow the rules of distribution. Basically, he wants to share the rewards based on everyone's contributions. Sun Ge and the two ladies are taken aback. Miss Kai quickly realizes that Lu Fan is proposing they split the rewards according to their strength. Lu Fan confirms that's exactly what he means. Qin Xiao is a bit puzzled. She thinks our group's average level is around 20, and this guy looks even weaker than us. Is he just super confident or totally arrogant? But they desperately need a fifth member, so she decides to roll with it. She smiles, extends her hand, and says, since you want to cooperate, let's form a team on those terms. And don't worry, the 100,000 dragon coins we promised are still yours as a sign of our sincerity. Lu Fan shakes her hand and agrees to the deal. With that settled, Qin Xiao is pumped and urges everyone to get moving. But Lu Fan has his own thoughts. He decides that revealing his legendary dragon, Xiao Yi, in front of strangers might bring unnecessary trouble. So he plans to keep her hidden until after they get the rewards from the secret realm. He feels a bit sorry for keeping her cooped up, but knows it's the safest move. They all enter the portal and arrive in the secret realm of chance. As soon as they step inside, Lu Fan notices the place is dark and desolate. There are lifeless trees and a dense, purple fog everywhere. A system notification pops up for Lu Fan, indicating they're in the Morning Village, a level 20 realm with solid difficulty. It also notes that only groups of at least 5 can enter. Looking around at the eerie atmosphere, Qin Xiao comments that the village is so quiet they can only hear their own voices. Miss Kai analyzes the environment and mentions that the air feels heavy, and there's no sign of life in the fog surrounding them. Meanwhile, Sun Ge is a bit worried about Lu Fan. He notices that Lu Fan is empty-handed and doesn't have any equipment. He advises him to be cautious. But Lu Fan has a surprise up his sleeve. He smiles and raises his hand. Suddenly, a flaming aura surrounds him. A massive black machete with dragon scales materializes in his hand. A system notification informs us that this is an epic quality weapon with no level requirement. It can only be used by dragon tamers and dragon blood warriors. It even has a skill called Dragon Blood Armor, which partially transforms the user into a dragon, boosting the power of dragon transformations. Plus, it increases strength by 65 and stamina by 30. Lu Fan silently thanks the advanced treasure map that was triggered after defeating the three-headed blood lion. It allowed him to upgrade his novice machete to this legendary weapon. So, after showing off his extraordinary weapon, Lu Fan left everyone in awe. Sun Ge couldn't help but ask if Lu Fan was a newly transferred student rather than just a material hunter. Because seriously, that weapon was something else. But Miss Kai was getting irritated. She snapped at Sun Ge, questioning why he cared so much about a stranger. In her mind, if Lu Fan had any evil intentions, she'd handle him without breaking a sweat. But before they could argue further, something unexpected happened. Out of nowhere, a hand shot up from the ground, startling Sun Ge. They were suddenly faced with corrupt zombies, level 15 monsters that, upon defeat, give 620 experience points, a corruption poison sac, and 256 dragon coins. Not too shabby, right? But don't let the loot fool you. These guys are dangerous. These zombies have some nasty attacks. Hug and bite. They entangle and scratch the target, continuing to bite relentlessly. Corpse poison. Every attack poisons the target, causing continuous life point loss. And get this. Anyone who dies from the corpse poison turns into a corrupt zombie themselves. Qin Xiao quickly warns Sun Ge to be careful as a horde of these zombies emerged from beneath them, ready to attack and infect the group. But our paladin, Jia Ge, wasn't about to let that happen. He stepped up, shield raised, blocking the incoming attacks like a pro. A quick status check reveals that Jia Ge is a level 20 knight with a fighting profession. Sun Ge and Miss Kai fell back, with Sun Ge praising Jia Ge for his swift action. Sun Ge himself is a level 28 warrior, and he started hacking and slashing through the zombies alongside Miss Kai, who's a level 23 rogue. Meanwhile, Lu Fan was observing the battle, his system interface displaying all their stats and moves. He thought to himself that having a warrior, rogue, and knight guarding the portal was a solid strategy, especially since Sun Ge was nearing his second profession change. Suddenly, Qin Xiao raised her staff into the air. A yellow aura enveloped her, lifting her slightly off the ground as she chanted. She was charging up a big move. Then, She unleashed holy light star rain. Energy gathered and rained down like starlight on the enemies, causing holy damage within the area and healing her allies by the same amount. Everyone watched in awe as meteor-like lights obliterated the zombies. Sun Gu and Miss Kai had to dodge to avoid getting caught in the crossfire. The zombies didn't stand a chance. They were decimated, leaving no trace behind. Qin Xiu turned to Lu Fan with a smile. "That's my profession," she said proudly. Turns out, Qin Xiu has a hidden profession, Holy Light Mage. It's a unique class that combines both attack and healing. While her attack damage isn't as high as a pure mage, and her healing isn't as potent as a priest, she can do both simultaneously, which is super helpful for the team. Lu Fan was impressed. A notification popped up confirming that Qin Xiu is indeed a hidden professional. He thought, wow, another hidden professional? That's rare. He complimented her, noting how effective her holy damage was against the undead. But their victory was short-lived. Suddenly, the ground beneath them shook violently. Lu Fan realized that all the noise had attracted some elite monsters. From the heavy footsteps, he knew they were in for a tough fight. Out of nowhere, a blood-red hand emerged from the ground. The system alerted Lu Fan, blood zombies, level 20 monsters that offer 8,140 experience points, a blood corpse poison sac, and 90 dragon coins upon defeat. These zombies are even more dangerous. Their attacks include blood-sucking bite, damages the target and heals themselves simultaneously. Corpse poison, just like before, every attack poisons the target. Blood fury, allows them to enter a violent state, increasing their strength and agility by 40%. As these grotesque creatures emerged, their intent was clear. They wanted to eliminate the entire group. Sun Gu sprang into action. Miss Kai, protect Qin Xiu and Lu Fan. Jia go with me. We can't let these rotten pieces of meat break through our front line. Jia Ge didn't hesitate. Both readied their heavy attacks. Sun Gu used his full moon slash, slicing off a zombie's hand. Jia Ge thrust his sword into where the zombie's heart should be, thinking they'd dealt significant damage. But here's the twist. The zombies just grinned wickedly, showing no signs of pain. Jia Ge tried to pull his sword back, but the zombie started absorbing it. Both Sun Gu and Jia Ge were shocked. The zombies began to laugh maniacally, growing larger as they activated corpse poison. The poison started infecting the group, draining their life while healing the zombies. Jia Ge was in disbelief. What's happening? This isn't normal. Qin Xiu was equally alarmed. Corpse poison requires a priest's clarity to dispel. I can't help you. The situation was dire. The zombies weren't just resisting. They were overpowering. They engulfed Jia Ji's hand, the poison damage increasing every second. Desperate, he screamed, "Help me! I can't break free!" Sun Gu shouted, "Let go of your weapon, Jia Ge, before it's too late." Jia Ge released his grip, and Sun Gu rushed to pull him away. He called out, "Miss Kai, cover us!" But Miss Kai was swamped, fending off zombies trying to infect her as well. Just when things seemed hopeless, a calm voice broke through the chaos. "Hey, Sun Gu, chill out. Don't trouble Miss Kai." They all turned to see Lu Fan stepping forward. One of his eyes glowed a crimson red, and he wielded his epic machete with confidence. He looked ready to take on the world, or at least a horde of undead monsters. Sun Gu was frantically telling Lu Fan to get out of the way of the red blood zombies. He was worried that Lu Fan would get seriously hurt. But Lu Fan had this intense determination in his eyes. Ignoring Sun Ji's warning, he wielded his legendary ink dragon machete, surrounded by a fiery yellow aura, and lunged straight at the zombie, slashing its throat. Everyone was absolutely stunned. I mean, jaws dropped. Sun Gu couldn't believe what he was seeing. Lu Fan, a supposed newbie, just took down a zombie like it was nothing. Lu Fan casually handed Sun Gu his sword back, telling him not to back down and to keep moving forward, all with a confident smile. But Sun Gu was like, "Hold up. What's your level?" Exactly. He couldn't wrap his head around how a transfer student could have such insane attack power. But they had bigger problems. Jia Ge, the paladin, was gravely wounded. Qin Xiu rushed over to heal him, urging him to hang in there. Lu Fan, with a dragon aura literally glowing from one of his eyes, told Sun Gu that he's just a normal level 14 student. "No need to lie," he said. He explained that he came, and as soon as they heard his name, the group's suspicions were confirmed. He was indeed the rumored dragon Tamer, but Qin Xiu still couldn't figure out how a dragon tamer, considered the weakest class, could be so strong. Fast forward, and the team is now at the center of the village, battling hordes of blood zombies. Lu Fan was deep in thought. He realized that Qinxiu's profession couldn't remove the deadly corpse poison, and the teleportation gate would only appear after they defeated the secret realm guardian. Time was running out. If they didn't hurry, Jiagu could die and turn into a zombie himself. Miss Kai wondered why they hadn't encountered the secret realm guardian yet. Just then, Jiagu, mustering all his remaining strength, noticed zombies sneaking up behind Sun Ge. He shouted a warning before collapsing. Qinxiu rushed to his side, pleading with him to stay awake. Suddenly, a red beam of light shone from the debris. They all turned to see a massive iron-skinned zombie emerging, with multiple heads and a single glowing red eye. It was charging at them at insane speeds. This iron-skinned zombie was no joke. A level 20 monster that awarded 13,720 experience points and 40 dragon coins upon defeat. It had some nasty abilities. Corpse poison, assimilation absorption, which lets it absorb poison targets to increase its own HP, and steel skin, boosting its defense and endurance by 40%. Miss Kai gasped. They were facing the secret realm guardian. Lu Fan quickly pieced it together. Jiaji's worsening corpse poison had attracted the iron-skinned zombie. He shouted to the group, "We have to defeat it before it absorbs Jiagu." Sun Ge didn't hesitate. He charged in with his moonlight slash, but it didn't even scratch the monster. Lu Fan joined the fray, activating his dragon aura. He knew there was no time to waste. He plunged his black machete into the zombie's glowing eye, but still, nothing. The steel skin ability was making it almost invincible. Thinking fast, Lu Fan realized he needed more power. And quickly, he glanced at his status window and saw the dragon blood armor skill, which would partially transform him into a dragon. Meanwhile, the iron-skinned zombie was making a beeline for Jiagu, preparing to use assimilation absorption. At that critical moment, Lu Fan shouted to Qinxiu, asking her to coordinate holy spells with him. He began transforming, his hand morphing into a dragon's claw. He instructed Sun Ge to protect Jiagu with Miss Kai's help. As Lu Fan's transformation completed, one of his hands was now a full-on dragon hand. Qinxiu nodded and started chanting her holy spells, staff raise high. Together, they charged at the iron-skinned zombie. Lu Fan leaped at the creature with everything he had, while Qinxiu unleashed her holy starlight rain, hoping to deal massive damage and finally take down the undead monster once and for all. So, the iron-skinned zombie boss is charging at Lu Fan and the group at insane speeds, screaming about wanting fresh blood and flesh. Creepy, right? But our boy Lu Fan isn't backing down. He leaps into the air, ready to attack this seemingly unstoppable creature. But then, something unexpected happens. The monstrous iron-skinned zombie starts disintegrating, its skin falling off bit by bit. Everyone's like, "What's going on?" Miss Kai realizes that the zombie is shedding its skin to increase its speed. Hearing this, Sun Ge figures out that the iron-skinned zombie relies on constant fusion and absorption to grow huge and maintain its body. Lu Fan quickly pieces it together. If the iron exterior isn't the original iron-skinned zombie, then the real body must be hidden inside all that iron. Sun Ge is super impressed with Lu Fan's quick thinking and instant action. In all his years serving the Qin family, he's never seen someone quite like Lu Fan. This guy is definitely rocking a hidden profession. Suddenly, with the iron skin disintegrating more and more, the original head of the zombie is revealed. Noticing this, Qinxiu shouts to Lu Fan. He sprints toward the real body at lightning speed, transforming his hand into a dragon claw like before. Our boy jumps with all his might and punches the crimson red eye of the iron-skinned zombie with his dragon hand, crushing it with fiery power. The zombie starts screaming in pain and agony as flames consume its original body, burning it down to ashes. Finally, the zombie is completely destroyed. Lu Fan lands gracefully, undoing his hand transformation and retrieving his legendary black machete. Everyone is absolutely stunned. They can't believe that a freshman just defeated the guardian of the secret realm of chance. Even Qinxiu is a bit shaken. She's never seen such a powerful skill that can make a level 20 boss drop dead so easily. She's wondering, who exactly is Lu Fan? As the smoke clears, they notice a silver chest, the iron-skinned zombie's treasure box. Seeing it, Qinxiu sighs and tells Lu Fan that their group will honor their agreement and distribute the rewards according to the rules. She even apologizes to Lu Fan for underestimating him earlier. They didn't realize his true power and were a bit rude, even though he wasn't. Sun Ge chimes in, complimenting Lu Fan and saying he's definitely capable of passing through the secret realm all by himself. It seems like the rest of them were just there to make up the numbers. Lu Fan smiles and thanks Sun Ge, then tells Qin Xiu that she should be the one to distribute the rewards to the group. Hearing that, Qin Xiu opens the chest, but everyone's in for a surprise. As the chest opens, it reveals multiple bottles of strength potions, normal quality consumables that increase strength by 2 points when consumed. There are also several antidote potions of rare quality, which eliminate corpse poison when used. But Miss Kai is skeptical. She thinks the rewards from the secret realm of chance are too underwhelming. The chest also contains a morning bracelet of excellent quality, which requires level 10 to wear and increases strength by 16 points and endurance by 17. Even Sun Ge is puzzled. He thinks the rewards are pretty shabby, especially considering they just defeated the secret realm's boss. Something doesn't feel right. Lu Fan starts thinking too. What's the deal here? He wonders. Meanwhile, Qin Xiu wants Sun Ge to make Jia Ge drink one of the antidote potions so he can recover from the deadly poison infecting him. After distributing the rewards to everyone, Qin Xiu smiles and hands the morning bracelet to Lu Fan. She tells him he deserves it along with some strength potions and antidote potions. Lu Fan smiles, thinking that the Qin family is really disciplined and fair. Sun Ge helps Jia Ge drink the potion, hoping he'll recover from the poison. So, after handing out all the loot, Qin Xiu starts feeling that something's not quite right. They've defeated the boss, but there's still no portal to exit the secret realm of chance. Weird, right? Meanwhile, Lu Fan is trying on his new morning bracelet when he notices something ominous heading their way. Miss Kai suggests that maybe they should start looking around for the portal, but before anyone can move, our boy Lu Fan shouts for everyone to stay put. He checks his system and realizes that even though they've beaten the blood zombies and the iron skin zombie, they haven't faced the final boss yet. There's still something lurking out there. Sun Ge is like, wait, how do you know there's more? But before Lu Fan can explain, Qin Xiu steps in. As a holy light mage, she can sense a very dark presence nearby. Spooky. They head toward the lakeside of the morning village, and let me tell you, it's super creepy. Dark and gloomy, with the water giving off a stench that'll make your nose hairs curl. The group figures that if Qin Xiu senses something, they better check it out. After all, the secret realm isn't that big. Maybe they missed a spot when they first got here. As they approach the murky water, we catch a glimpse of something horrifying beneath the surface. A massive tentacled monster with multiple gruesome eyes and crimson pupils, seething with anger. It's clearly ticked off that they've been wiping out its minions. Lu Fan feels the impending danger. Suddenly, multiple tentacles bristling with eyes burst out of the ground. Everyone's shocked, scrambling to keep their distance from this monstrosity. Even the status window can't identify what this creature is or what level it's at. Realizing Lu Fan was right all along, Sun Ge admits that this tentacle monster must be the true final boss. They try to dodge the writhing tentacles. Sun Ge steps up, swinging his crimson sword to defend the team. But the tentacles are too powerful. They smack him away like he's nothing, sending him flying several meters. The group's strongest member is down. Oh. Suddenly, Qin Xiu senses the tentacles zeroing in on her. Before she knows it, they're lunging at her with insane speed. She's caught off guard, frozen in place. But guess who comes to the rescue? Lu Fan. Like a lightning bolt, he swoops in and grabs Qin Xiu just before the tentacles can snatch her. She's blushing from his heroic act, but there's no time to celebrate. The tentacles strike again, tossing both of them to the ground. The rest of the team rushes over. Miss Kai asks Qin Xiu if she's okay. Meanwhile, Lu Fan's over here being the real MVP. But hey, no worries. Suddenly, a dark purple aura rises from the river. Miss Kai is stunned, frozen in fear. They all turn to see the full monster emerging from the pond. It's a terrifying sight. A massive tentacled body, and at its center, a woman with long hair and chained hands, glaring at them with anger and disgust. Meet the Grieving Spectre, a level 25 boss and the true master of the secret realm. Her stats are off the charts. Strength of 27, agility of 183, spirit of 50, and stamina of 266. Yikes! She's enveloped in a corpse aura that continuously decreases all attributes of any creature in the realm by 20%. Talk about a debuff. Her abilities are no joke either. Chain Whip causes massive damage when it hits a target. Resentment Explosion unleashes accumulated resentment energy, pushing back all enemies and inflicting them with corpse poison. So, the grieving specter boss, chains shackling her hands, is now towering over our heroes, using her tentacles to support herself. She's glaring at Sungu and the rest of the crew. Miss Kai is absolutely shocked to see the real boss of the secret realm finally appear. Meanwhile, little Jiagu has regained consciousness and wants to jump back into the fight. But Sungu calms him down, saying he'll protect everyone, including Jiagu, until he's fully recovered. Jiagu insists, but Sungu firmly tells him, "Don't push yourself. You just got some of your energy back." But amidst all this, Sungu doesn't notice that the boss's tentacles are about to slam down on him from above. At the last second, he looks up and somehow manages to block the tentacle with his sword. Phew! Our main man, Lu Fan, sees the danger and charges toward the real monster, wielding his big black legendary machete. He knows that Sungu and Jiagu are barely holding on, and it's up to him to take down the boss. Lu Fan realizes that as long as the boss is still a zombie, there's only one way to defeat her. He spots the original body of the grieving specter boss, who's actually controlling all these tentacles, and immediately leaps toward her. But the boss isn't going down without a fight. She makes this creepy, distorted face, her mouth opens weirdly, and she starts screaming at Lu Fan. She activates Corpse Chi Envelopment, emitting a nasty aura that reduces all attributes of creatures in the secret realm by 20%. Not good. Everyone is affected by this, including Lu Fan. But our boy isn't giving up. He dodges ferocious tentacle attacks, jumps onto one of the chains shackling the boss, and starts sprinting toward her main body. Even the boss is shocked by his bold move. Qin Xiu shouts, "Lu Fan, watch out for the iron shackles." But before he can react, the boss unleashes her chain lash attack, whipping chains from the sunken lake toward them, causing massive damage. Lu Fan loses his balance on the chain and starts falling, but he grips his machete tightly. Now the boss is furious. She looks at the group with pure rage and starts whipping her chains everywhere, intent on wiping them out. Sun Ge jumps in, blocking a chain and yelling to Qin Xiu, "Be careful." Miss Kai and Jiagu try to defend themselves, but Jia Ji's shield shatters from just one hit. Things are looking grim. Despite all this, Lu Fan is still on the offensive, desperately trying to reach the main body. Suddenly, he notices a tentacle sweeping right beside him, heading straight for Sun Ge and the others. The monster taunts, "If you keep resisting, your whole group will die." Fueled by anger, Lu Fan shouts, "Everyone, get out of the way!" He charges up his dragon strike attack again, channeling his dragon energy to deliver a powerful blow. The grieving specter boss is hurt, but not defeated. She starts lashing out desperately, her chains whipping in a continuous assault against Lu Fan and the team. Realizing he needs more power, Lu Fan unleashes his dragon blood transformation, turning his hand into a dragon claw. With this newfound strength, he breaks through the chains attacking him and the group. After this epic move, Lu Fan lands on the ground, having destroyed the boss's chains that were attacking them. Sun Ge looks at him and says, "This boss is too much for us right now. We need to retreat and come up with a strategy." Even Qin Xiu is worried. She tells Lu Fan, "We're all in bad shape and no match for her. If we don't leave the secret realm now, we'll be in grave danger." So, the grieving specter boss is still glaring daggers at Lu Fan, ready to unleash another devastating attack. But our guy isn't backing down. He turns to the group and says, "You all should retreat to the village where we've already taken care of the zombies." He assigns Sun Ge and Miss Kai the task of making sure everyone gets there safely. Qin Xiu is visibly worried. She asks, "What are you planning to do by staying here alone?" But Lu Fan just waves her off with a confident smile. "I'll handle the boss no matter what," he assures them. He urges them once again to retreat quickly. Miss Kai nods, agreeing that it's the best course of action. She encourages Qin Xiu to come with them. Qin Xiu hesitates, clearly torn about leaving Lu Fan to face the boss alone. But she knows they can't change his mind. Now here's where things get really interesting. Lu Fan raises his hand into the air, and suddenly, a flaming aura engulfs the battlefield. He's opening a portal. He figures that even without the boss's 20% attribute debuff, the team wouldn't be much help against her. Instead of risking their safety, he decides to bring in someone who can really turn the tide. The grieving specter boss is seething, her eyes filled with killing intent. But even she doesn't see what's coming next. Lu Fan calls out, "Xiao Yi, come join me for some fun." And bam! Out of the portal emerges his legendary black dragon, Xiao Yi. She doesn't waste a second, immediately grabbing the boss's tentacles with her powerful jaws. The group's jaws drop. They're absolutely floored. Lu Fan just summoned a mighty dragon right before their eyes. And get this, the dragon is even bigger than when we first saw her. She uses her sharp claws and massive wings to fend off every tentacle the boss throws at her. Even though Lu Fan hadn't planned on revealing Xiao Yi to the group, he had no choice if he wanted to defeat the boss. Xiao Yi, ever the loyal companion, follows his commands without hesitation. She unleashes her giant assault attack, rushing at high speed and biting the boss, causing continuous bleeding damage. Tentacles snap and crumble under her might. The grieving specter boss screams in agony, her attacks becoming more frantic but less effective. But Xiao Yi isn't done yet. She goes in for the final blow, tearing off the boss's chains and forcing her back into the watery depths from which she came. And just like that, the secret boss of the Realm of Chance is defeated. Sun Gu is left speechless. How did Lu Fan dismantle that enormous boss in just 2 blows, he thinks. It's both terrifying and awe-inspiring. Jiaga can't believe his eyes either. Witnessing the sheer power of a dragon is something he never imagined he'd experience. The whole group is a mix of shock, terrified, and, let's be honest, a little impressed. They always believed that seeing a dragon meant certain doom, but here they are alive and well. Qin Xiu finally pieces it together. The rumors she's heard about a mysterious dragon tamer in Jianghai City, they're all about Lu Fan, the so-called worthless dragon tamer. Clearly, there's nothing worthless about him. We see Lu Fan patting Xiao Yi affectionately. "Great job," he tells her with a smile. So, we get transported back 3 centuries ago into the tragic past of the grieving specter boss. She was born and raised in a peaceful city, protected by the church and far from any external threats. Life was pretty blissful for her, until a devastating plague hit and turned everything upside down. Her grandfather fell ill, and soon, lifeless bodies started piling up by the lake faster than they could be buried. Desperate to save her community, she turned to the dark arts, hoping to find a cure. But instead of becoming the savior she wanted to be, she was labeled a dark witch. Her newfound powers allowed the living to say their final goodbyes to their loved ones by summoning spirits. But she couldn't cure the dying. One day, the church father showed up with 2 knights carrying chains. They ordered her capture, blaming her for the disaster. Confused and hurt, she wondered why they were treating her this way. All she did was help people find closure. Her hands were bound with iron chains, and the knights dragged her away under the church's orders. They threw her into the lake, and the weight of the chains pulled her deeper and deeper. As she sank toward the lake bed, her breath fading, she questioned why the church was punishing her when she'd done nothing wrong. Fast forward to the present. Lu Fan approaches Xiao Yi, his gaze meeting hers as he gently touches her. Sun Gu and the others are left speechless, wondering how someone like Lu Fan could summon such a formidable dragon. Seeing the black dragon Xiao Yi, Sun Gu announces that they can finally leave the hidden realm. But Lu Fan isn't so sure. Gazing out over the lake as bubbles start surfacing without the portal appearing, he tells the group that the boss isn't defeated yet. It's too soon to leave. More bubbles rise from the lake bed, and eventually, the boss's silhouette emerges. Suddenly, she bursts from the water and shoots into the sky. Moments later, Lu Fan and Xiao Yi crane their necks, bewildered by this sudden eruption. The boss now stands surrounded by swirling water, extending her hands outward. Sun Gu reacts instantly, unsheathing his sword, and everyone else gets into defensive stances, ready for battle. Meanwhile, Xiao Yi gazes upward, using one of her wings to shield everyone from potential attacks. And then, a colossal woman made entirely of water emerges. She fixes a murderous glare upon Lu Fan and the others. A status window pops up, revealing the boss's identity. It's the grieving specter boss, now in her 2nd stage. She's still at level 25, but her difficulty has escalated from challenging to hard nightmarish. Her attributes have skyrocketed. Strength, from 271 to 286. Agility, from 183 to 249. Spirit, from 150 to 435. Endurance, from 266 to 399. Yikes! The boss has some terrifying new abilities. 1. Lamentation Impact. Releases a curse of resentment that has a chance to instantly kill its target. If instant death doesn't occur, it inflicts significant damage and can add nasty effects like bodily poison, bleeding, and stun. 2. Deep Aquatic Pressure. Allows her to manipulate water from the lake to create prisons for trapping targets. 3. Body of Resentments. She gains the ability to nullify all physical damage. 4. Will of Resentment. Triggers an explosion of resentment that awakens all the corpses within the secret realm. Sun Ge reads these stats and draws his sword, taking an offensive stance. Jia Ge and Qin Xiu look visibly frightened. Miss Kai pulls out her dagger, trembling as she announces that the boss is entering her next phase. The boss raises her hands to the sky, exploding in rage. With a swift maneuver, she unleashes deep aquatic pressure, causing a colossal water woman to hurl immense water orbs toward them. Just as the orbs are about to hit, Xiao Yi swiftly employs an immunity skill called Restriction, using one of her wings to intercept the attack. Lu Fan watches in astonishment as a system window appears, notifying him that the Black Dragon lineage skill has been activated. This ability reduces all incoming damage by 50%, grants immunity to all harmful effects, and increases self-healing capability by 500%. Talk about overpowered. One of the boss's water orbs lands near Miss Kai. She reacts quickly, leaping away from the impact zone, but the water surges toward her, swiftly encasing her in a watery prison. Qin Xiu watches this with growing concern. Miss Kai tries attacking the water with her dagger, but no matter how hard she and Sun Ge try, they can't inflict any damage. Turns out, the boss has activated Body of Resentments, making her immune to all physical attacks. Minutes pass with their futile attempts to break free, and Miss Kai finally gives up. She closes her eyes in resignation, apologizing to Qin Xiu, fearing her imminent demise. Hearing this, Qin Xiu approaches her, locking eyes. She says that if anyone should be apologizing, it's her. She collapses to the ground, clutching her magic staff, and admits that it's all her fault. She insisted on entering this hidden realm, and now everyone is trapped with no way out. Lu Fan turns away, placing a hand on his hip. Are you really going to give up after coming this far? He asks. Just then, another sphere of water descends near Sun Ge, quickly enveloping him in a watery prison too. Qin Xiu meets Lu Fan's gaze and confesses, I'm the only magic user in our group. My spells aren't strong enough to defeat the boss. So, Sun Ge is gripping his sword tightly, turning to the group and saying, Guys, the boss is immune to physical attacks. We're kind of sitting ducks here. He looks over at Lu Fan and asks, Can you use magic to attack the boss? Just then, the boss unleashes her Lamentation Impact skill. The colossal water woman extends her arm toward Lu Fan. Xiao Yi, ever vigilant, swiftly shields him with one of her wings, giving him a look that screams, Watch out. Lu Fan turns to Sun Ge and says, Sorry, I can't use magic against her. As the attack is about to hit, Xiao Yi exhales forcefully, diverting it away. A system window pops up, notifying Lu Fan that the Black Dragon's immunity has nullified instant death, corpse poison, bleeding, and stun effects. Pretty handy, right? With a calm demeanor, Lu Fan slips his hands into his pockets, a slight smile forming. Another system notification tells him that the Black Dragon lineage has reduced all incoming damage, granted immunity to harmful effects, and boosted self-recovery by 500%. Talk about OP. Sun Ge is like, So if you can't use magic, what can we do? Lu Fan grins and says, Well, I might not be able to, but my dragon can. Everyone's eyes widen in astonishment. Miss Kai is speechless. You're a dragon tamer, she stammers. The gap between Lu Fan and the boss suddenly doesn't seem so big. As they're talking, the boss tries to ambush Lu Fan again. But our guy is ready. He clenches his fist, conjuring a fiery ball in his palm. Flames flicker in his eyes as he locks gazes with the boss. Don't worry, he tells Miss Kai. A dragon's attributes are on a whole different level than a human's. The boss guides the water woman's hand toward Lu Fan, triggering Lamentation Impact once more. It strikes Xiao Yi, but another system notification assures Lu Fan that they're immune to all those nasty effects. Surrounded by a fiery aura, Lu Fan activates Dragon Inspiration, empowering both himself and Xiao Yi. Her stats skyrocket. Strength, from 968 to 1,258. Agility, from 767 to 997. Spirit, from 959 to 1,246. Endurance, from 976 to 1,268. With renewed vigor, Lu Fan points at the boss and commands, Xiao Yi, unleash your lava blaze. Within moments, Xiao Yi spews a fierce torrent of fire directly at the boss. The flames engulf her, slowly consuming her watery form. Xiao Yi's lava blaze not only deals continuous damage, but also heals herself. Win-win. The sky fills with swirling flames as the boss's form starts to disintegrate. Qin Xiu stands at the lake's edge, speechless at the overwhelming display of power. Jia Ge joins her, both of them gazing up in awe. As Xiao Yi's flames intensify, the watery prisons holding Miss Kai and Sun Ge begin to evaporate. Miss Kai is freed and left speechless. Sun Ge looks up, solemnly declaring, "This power, it's catastrophic." Moments later, the boss starts to explode from within under the intense heat. A wave of flames erupts in all directions. In a last-ditch effort, the boss triggers her will of resentment, trying to awaken all the corpses in the secret realm. But it's too late. The colossal water woman disintegrates, shrouding the area in a purple haze. The boss dissolves entirely, revealing a portal and a treasure chest materializing on the ground. Xiao Yi reverts to her human form, hovering in the air with a satisfied smile. The system notes that the Black Dragon Realm's level has increased, but keeps the details under wraps. Lu Fan clasps his hands together, smiling up at Xiao Yi. "Great job," he calls out. Just then, a system notification reveals that his own level has increased by 5. Not too shabby. The area is engulfed in a veil of smoke from the boss's explosion. Qin Xiu hurries over to check on Miss Kai. Sun Ge grins, pointing out the portal. "It's over," he announces. Jia Ge stands up, coughing from the smoke. "Is everyone okay?" he asks. Suddenly, they hear a noise behind them. Turning around, they see village zombies resurrected by the boss's last move, slowly advancing toward them. Sun Ge glances up and is astonished to see Xiao Yi nearby. Without hesitation, Xiao Yi rushes toward the zombies, activating her lava blaze again. She soars above them, unleashing torrents of fire from her mouth. The zombies begin to disintegrate almost instantly. Sun Ge looks up in awe. "Is that the giant dragon?" he asks Qin Xiu. She nods, equally stunned. She's effortlessly defeating them, zombies that gave us so much trouble. Lu Fan walks over to them with a smile. "Yep, that's Xiao Yi, the Black Dragon," he says. He turns to Sun Ge. "No need to be tense. Xiao Yi has everything under control." He adds, "Once we distribute the rewards, we can prepare to leave." Walking toward the chest, he grins and says, "According to the rules, I'll choose first." He looks back at the group. "Anyone got a problem with that?" Qin Xiu shakes her head. "No objections here," she replies, smiling. So, Lu Fan steps up to the treasure chest and opens it. As it begins to glow, a big smile spreads across his face. Qin Xiu stands behind him, clutching her magical staff, watching eagerly. The rest of the team waits in anticipation as Lu Fan reveals the loot. Inside the chest are several awesome items. 1. Holy Light Staff. An excellent quality weapon with 32 spirit points and 19 stamina points, requiring level 10 to use. It has a cool ability called Holy Light Seal, which lets the user bind a target with light. The duration depends on the user's spiritual attributes. 2. Twilight Robe. Also excellent quality, offering 35 spirit points and 15 stamina points, with a level 10 requirement. Its ability, Light Flow, allows the user to create a barrier of light to protect themselves from attacks. The barrier's strength is based on the user's spirit attributes. 3. Ring of Morning. A rare quality ring boasting 57 spirit points, 21 stamina, and 12 strength points, requiring level 15 to use. It comes with an ability called Morning Aura, which lets the user assign an aura to any target. Attacks launched by someone with this aura accumulate resentment value, leading to negative effects like poisoning, bleeding, and dizziness when it builds up. Pretty intense, right? 4. Job Transfer Scroll. A rare consumable item that offers a chance for a non-hidden profession to transfer into a hidden profession of the same type. Without a second thought, Lu Fan picks the Job Transfer Scroll. Holding it up, his body emits a blue energy as a system notification confirms he successfully obtained it. Qin Xiu approaches him and says he doesn't need to go out of his way for them. The items are his according to the rules. But Lu Fan replies with a smile, saying he's not trying to be overly generous. The equipment has spirit attributes, making it more suitable for her. All he needs is the job transfer scroll. Touched, Qin Xiu looks into the chest and says that if it weren't for him, they might not have made it out alive. Lu Fan watches her quietly, curious about what she's planning. After a moment, she takes out the ring of mourning and extends it to him, asking him to accept it. He accepts the ring without hesitation, closing his eyes briefly as he holds it. Qin Xiu stands up, still holding her staff, and starts blushing while gazing into his eyes. She's wondering what other surprises he might have up his sleeve. He's definitely a hard person to figure out. Meanwhile, Xiao Yi is playfully interacting with Jia Ge. Uncle Sun Gu observes Lu Fan, thinking he's a really interesting guy. Miss Kai joins them, smiling as she tells Qin Xiu it's time to prepare to head back. Later that night, Lu Fan returns to his Aunt Han Ke's bun shop. As soon as she sees him, she throws her arms around him, clearly relieved. She tells him how worried she was, saying he's been facing so many dangers lately. Lu Fan is a bit surprised, but also touched by her concern. He gently asks what's wrong and suggests she let go since his clothes are dirty from being out in the wilderness. But Han Ke just hugs him tighter, saying she doesn't care. She was so scared when he left without telling her. She feared he might not come back. Feeling a bit guilty, Lu Fan apologizes for leaving without warning and promises he won't make her worry like that again. He wipes away her tears and reassures her that everything's fine now. Han Ke smiles and then notices Xiao Yi, who is sitting nearby. She starts stroking Xiao Yi's head, and Xiao Yi closes her eyes, clearly enjoying the attention. Han Ke tells Lu Fan how surprised she was when she first met Xiao Yi, remarking that such a cute girl is actually an incredibly powerful dragon. Lu Fan chuckles at that. Han Ke then asks Xiao Yi if she's hungry, noticing that she might not have eaten enough lately. Xiao Yi eagerly nods. She's definitely hungry. While they're chatting, Lu Fan approaches holding the job transfer scroll. He tells his aunt that this is a reward he specifically chose for her from the dungeon. He explains that if she uses it to change her profession to a hidden one, she wouldn't have to run the bun shop anymore. Han Ke is taken aback and says she can't accept such an expensive item. She suggests he sell it instead and use the money to buy equipment for his upcoming big exam. But before she can finish, Lu Fan pulls out his phone and shows her his bank balance. With a big grin, he tells her that he doesn't lack money or equipment anymore. She's amazed to see how much money he has. Lu Fan explains that he sold a lot of the materials he collected during his trip and that his companion Qin Xiu promised him a reward of 100,000 dragon coins. He assures his aunt that they won't have to worry about money ever again. Oh, after hearing Lu Fan's words, Han Ke approached him with joy shining in her eyes. She couldn't help but shed a tear of happiness. Lu Fan insisted that she use the job transfer scroll he had brought for her right away. With a grateful smile, she agreed, taking the scroll from him. As she opened the scroll, it began to shine brilliantly. Blue energy enveloped her body, causing her hair and dress to float as if she were weightless. She was surprised but also excited by this newfound sensation. Slowly, the scroll dissolved, and she found herself floating gently in the air, absorbing the energy from it. Lu Fan shielded his eyes from the intense light, looking up at Han Ke. He asked if she had been successful. Surrounded by the glowing blue aura, she turned to him and confirmed that she had indeed succeeded. She had obtained the hidden profession of enchantment chef. Lu Fan was amazed and asked what was special about this new profession. Han Ke explained that she now had a skill called enchantment cooking, which allowed her to prepare food with various buffs. Lu Fan grinned, praising her by saying that her cooking was already fantastic, so the additional attributes would be incredible. She chuckled, saying he was just flattering her. Changing the subject, Lu Fan wondered where Xiao Yi had disappeared to. Turns out, while they were talking, Xiao Yi had snuck into the kitchen and devoured all the food. After filling her stomach with all the buns, she fell asleep right there on the floor. Classic Xiao Yi. Meanwhile, over at Qin Xiu's family villa that same night, Qin Xiu sat in her father's study. Her father, Qin Shanhai, was seated in his office chair, swirling a glass of champagne. He asked her if it was true that a dragon tamer named Lu Fan had summoned a powerful black dragon to save their lives. Qin Xiu admitted that her stubbornness had almost cost them dearly. She reflected on how strong Lu Fan was. Despite both of them having hidden professions, the gap between them was like that between a firefly and the moon. Her father gazed out the window, contemplating. He asked if she had told anyone else about the dragon. She assured him that she hadn't, as she had promised Lu Fan that the Qin family wouldn't reveal anything about the dragon. Qin Shanhai turned back to her, praising her for her discretion. He pointed out how many people covet the power of dragons and how chaotic things could become if that information leaked. Feeling anxious, Qin Xiu pleaded with her father not to disclose anything, reminding him that Lu Fan had saved their lives. She asked if he had any issues with Lu Fan's dragon. Her father laughed heartily, assuring her that he wasn't that kind of person. He then asked how she planned to repay Lu Fan for his help. Relieved, Qin Xiu explained that she had promised Lu Fan a reward of 100,000 yuan when she invited him to join their team. Qin Shanhai sighed and suggested she take a purple tongue card and personally visit Lu Fan the next day to thank him properly. She nodded, but then asked why he wouldn't come along if he was so curious about Lu Fan. With a wink, Qin Shanhai said he would love to meet the Dragon Master, but had important matters to attend to. Typical dad move. Early the next morning, a new character enters the scene, the princess of Tai Zi Kingdom. She's a short girl wielding a magic staff, accompanied by her assistant, a tall man with black hair, dressed in black armor, and carrying a suitcase. They've come to Zhanghai City, supposedly to study, but we all know there's more to it. They arrive at Han Ku's bakery while she's busy preparing pastries. Noticing customers, Han Ku asks them to wait a moment. She opens the door slightly and, with a warm smile, tells them there are no steamed buns available today. The princess, Jinju, isn't impressed. She asks her assistant if this is really the place they're looking for, questioning whether he's brought her to a garbage dump. Ouch! The assistant, Cui Hong Tai, nervously assures her that according to their investigation, this is indeed the correct location. Hanko, a bit puzzled, asks who they are. Suddenly, Cui Hong Tai forcefully pushes the door open, accidentally hitting Hanko on the arm. She cries out in pain. Both the princess and her assistant stride into the shop. The princess informs Han Ku that they're here to find someone, specifically a dragon tamer named Lu Fan. Hearing the commotion, Lu Fan comes downstairs. He sees his aunt holding her arm in pain and immediately rushes to her side, asking if she's okay. Meanwhile, the princess wrinkles her nose, complaining to her assistant about the unpleasant smell of the place. Talk about rude. Lu Fan is understandably upset. He asks Han Ku what's going on. She tries to assure him she's fine. The princess catches his attention and asks if he is Lu Fan, mentioning that she, the princess, has made a special trip just to see him. Confused, Lu Fan asks who she is and why she's looking for him. The assistant steps forward, introducing her as Princess Jinju from the Tai Zi Kingdom, and himself as Cui Hong Tai, her assistant. With a confident smile, the princess says she's come to offer him a breakthrough opportunity. Lu Fan raises an eyebrow, clearly puzzled. She continues, noting that being a dragon tamer must be tough. She then signals to her assistant. Cui Hong Tai opens the suitcase, revealing a dragon egg inside. Lu Fan is shocked, starting to sweat. The princess tells him that as long as he accepts her request, the dragon egg will be his. She points at him and lays out the conditions. She wants him to be her servant and obey her every command without question. Seriously? This spoiled princess thinks she can just buy him off. So, Cui Hong Tai is holding a dragon egg with both hands, proudly showing it off to Lu Fan. Meanwhile, the bratty princess, Jinju, starts boasting that the egg is a reward she obtained from the armored dragon lair. She's totally convinced it's the only dragon egg in the world. Han Ku, Lu Fan's aunt, is completely baffled and pretty upset about the idea of her precious nephew being turned into a slave. She's questioning the harsh terms of this so-called contract. Curious, Lu Fan opens his status window to check out the egg's details. Turns out it's an egg of an armored dragon, which has a naturally tough shell that reduces incoming damage by 30%. But get this, the only attack it has is swinging its giant tail in a fan-shaped area. This land dragon is actually weaker than a wyvern. While Lu Fan is reviewing these stats, Princess Jinju mistakes his silence for fear or awe. She even calls the mediocre egg a powerful dragon. Lu Fan cuts her off, pointing out that while the attributes are okay, the only thing this armored dragon has going for it is endurance. He jokes, questioning if this can even be called a dragon. The princess is shocked by his remark. She questions whether Lu Fan really knows what he's talking about, and if he understands what a dragon egg means to a dragon tamer. As she's lost in her own thoughts, Hanko wonders how a child could be so audacious as to demand someone become her slave. Lu Fan reassures his aunt not to worry. He'll handle the situation. The princess continues her tantrum, declaring that a dragon tamer without a dragon is worthless. She insists that if Lu Fan becomes her servant, he could become the strongest person in history. She asks if he's not excited about the prospect of fame and power. Trying to stay polite, Lu Fan calmly says he refuses. That's our guy. I knew he wouldn't fall for that offer. Now, it's time to see how he'll handle this spoiled princess. The refusal hits the princess like a ton of bricks. She asks him to rethink his decision, incredulous that he's turning down the chance to make history as a dragon tamer. At this point, Lu Fan is getting annoyed. He tells her to leave if that's all she came for. He's not interested in the dragon egg and asks her to drop the whole servant idea. Hearing this, Chui Hong Tai steps in to defend the princess. He says she's personally giving Lu Fan a chance to rise to prominence and calls him an ignorant fool for speaking disrespectfully. Chance? Respect? Don't be ridiculous. I won't be anyone's servant, Lu Fan replies. The princess, now enraged, points at Lu Fan and orders Chui Hong Tai to teach him a lesson. He readies his fists and agrees. Sensing danger, Hanka steps in front of Lu Fan, pleading with him to wait and not be angry. She explains that Lu Fan doesn't want this, and they should just drop the matter. But in an instant, Chui Hong Tai closes the distance and pushes her aside, causing her to cry out in pain. He yells that the princess has given her order and she should stand aside. Lu Fan is shocked by what's happening. He rushes to help his aunt, asking if she's injured and offering to assist her. Holding her swollen, red cheek, she assures him that she's fine. Chui Hong Tai prepares for his next attack, sneering that even commoners dare to defy the noble princess of Tai Zi. He intends to teach them a hard lesson. Seeing this, Hanka calls out Lu Fan's name in alarm. In a split second, Lu Fan reacts and launches an attack toward Chui Hong Tai. He points his big black machete at him, warning that since he's hurt his family, he won't hold back. Chui Hong Tai is stunned by the sudden attack. His cheek is bleeding. He jumps back as Han Ke tries to hold Lu Fan back, urging him not to be impulsive. The bratty princess, clueless about what just happened, demands to know what's going on with Chui Hong Tai. She still wants to teach Lu Fan a lesson. After experiencing Lu Fan's unexpected counterattack, Chui Hong Tai realizes there's more to Lu Fan than he initially thought. So Lu Fan, not one to tolerate disrespect, stepped up to the bratty princess and delivered a swift backhand slap right across her cheek. He didn't care which country she was from. He told her to shut her noisy mouth, take her trash, and leave his home. Watching the princess get slapped, Chui Hong Tai was furious. He attacked Lu Fan, yelling about how he could dare lay a hand on the princess. But Lu Fan easily deflected his attack with his big black machete, knocking Chui Hong Tai's spear wand out of his hand. Chui Hong Tai then turned his attention back to the princess, who was sitting on the ground holding her cheek. She was seething with anger. She slapped him back and called him trash, questioning if she looked okay to him. Commanding him to kill Lu Fan, she declared that even if they couldn't find another dragon tamer, she wanted Lu Fan dead. He replied with a resolute yes. Meanwhile, back at Lu Fan's bedroom, his phone was ringing non-stop, much to the annoyance of our favorite dragon waifu, Xiao Yi. The caller was Qin Xiao, who found it strange that Lu Fan wasn't answering. She was certain she had the right number he gave her when they returned to the city. Wandering the streets, she tried to recall where his house was. Suddenly, an explosion rocked a nearby wall, startling her. It was Chui Hong Tai, who had been knocked through the wall by Lu Fan. He looked pretty beaten up. People on the street started noticing the commotion, shouting that a foreigner was causing trouble. The bratty princess yelled at the onlookers to go away and stop staring. Lu Fan emerged, walking slowly like a champ, his big black machete in his left hand. Chui Hong Tai kneeled, admitting he couldn't defeat Lu Fan, noting that his attributes were too high. The princess sneered, offering to help him out. She began chanting a spell, and dark, ominous energy started swirling around her. Lu Fan noticed that her spell was the exact opposite of Qin Xiao's holy spells. Realizing the princess was also of a hidden class, he braced himself. Just then, Qin Xiao rushed toward him, surprising Lu Fan. He wondered why she was there. As the princess finished her chanting, all the ominous dark energy poured into Chui Hong Tai. He screamed from the surge of power, and both Lu Fan and Qin Xiao had to shield their eyes from the intense flash of energy emanating from him. A status window revealed that Chui Hong Tai's class was a combat class guardian knight, while the bratty princess, Jinju, was a combat class advanced spiritual witch. Chui Hong Tai had transformed into a monster. I am here to help you, Qin Xiu declared, taking a defensive stance in front of Lu Fan. Cui Hong Tai leaped into the air to attack them. Lu Fan quickly pushed Qin Xiu aside, telling her she needed to take care of his Aunt Han Ku, who was inside the shop. Cui Hong Tai landed a heavy attack, but Lu Fan managed to dodge just in time. The spot where he had been standing moments before was completely realized that Cui Hong Tai's attack power had skyrocketed and that he had truly become a monster. He thought to himself that he'd have to use Dragon Inspiration and Dragon Claw together to stand a chance. Princess Jinju stood beside Cui Hong Tai, yelling for him to kill Lu Fan to relieve her anger. Hearing this, Cui Hong Tai pulled his staff from the ground and prepared to attack again. But before he could make a move, our waifu Black Dragon, Xiao Yi, leaped from the window and transformed into her original dragon form. This shocked both the princess and Cui Hong Tai to their core. The only words they could mutter were, "It's a real dragon." So, our bratty princess is clutching her staff, calling Cui Hong Tai useless, and urging him to hold on a little longer as she begins casting a spell. But before she can finish, Xiao Yi, our amazing dragon waifu, lets out a roar so powerful that it blows the princess away, canceling her spell entirely. Xiao Yi activates her Dragon Bloodline skill, which reduces all damage she receives by 50%, provides immunity to all debuffs, and boosts her self-healing by a whopping 500%. Talk about overpowered. She then slams Cui Hong Tai to the ground. He's utterly powerless, screaming like a baby for her to let him go. Being the good dragon she is, Xiao Yi complies, but not before throwing him towards Princess Jinju. He crashes onto the road, creating a massive crater upon impact. Honestly, he should be apologizing to Han Ku and Lu Fan for all the trouble he's caused. Seeing Cui Hong Tai in such a pathetic state, the princess starts to realize the true power of a real dragon. She finally understands that there are actual dragons out there, not just the Jin family's so-called defensive lizards. Snapping her out of her shock, Lu Fan calls out to her. He begins walking towards her like a total badass, holding his big black machete in his right hand. He asks if she wasn't planning to kill him to vent her anger. Hearing this, the princess steps back in fear and ends up falling over. "Stay away from me. You attacked my attendant, seriously injured him, humiliated me, and threatened me," she screams with teary eyes. She continues her rant, warning Lu Fan about the consequences of his actions, saying he's now an enemy of the Tai-Zi kingdom. Honestly, she's just blabbering at this point, playing the victim. Classic spoiled brat behavior. Lu Fan isn't fazed by her threats. He casually flexes his machete and asks if she's trying to scare him. Reaching her, his eyes filled with rage, he tells the princess that she sent her man to harm his family. He doesn't care if she's a princess or even a god. He'll repay her actions with interest. At this point, the princess is absolutely terrified, practically shaking in her boots. While Xiao Yi is charging up a massive fireball attack, Lu Fan raises his machete to strike the princess. Just as he's about to land the blow, someone calls out his name from a distance. It's Qin Xiu's father, Qin Shanhai, flying towards them on a griffin. "Dad, it's dangerous," Qin Xiu screams, trying to warn him. Xiao Yi notices Qin Shanhai and aims her fire attack in his direction. But before she can unleash it, Lu Fan stops her, telling her to hold back. At the same moment, he slices through the princess's staff with his machete. Xiao Yi cancels her attack, and Qin Shanhai lands safely on the ground. He urges Lu Fan to call back his dragon, pointing out that the area is filled with residents who could get injured. As he observes Xiao Yi, he's amazed at how different true dragons are from subtypes. The immense pressure she's emitting makes it hard to even stand near her. Even his poor griffin is scared out of its wits. Qin Xiu also pleads with Lu Fan to listen, assuring him that they're on his side. Being the reasonable guy he is, especially when his friends ask, Lu Fan calls back Xiao Yi. She instantly transforms back into her human form. Qin Xiu then grabs Lu Fan by the arm and urges him to follow her. Meanwhile, her father approaches the terrified princess, asking if she's all right. He explains that he went to the airport to pick them up and didn't expect her to be here. He also mentions that the Qin family driver will arrive soon to take them to the hospital. So, the scene shifts back to Han Ku's bun shop. She's explaining to Lu Fan that Qin Shanhai knows the princess, the one who's been causing all the trouble, and that he might be able to resolve the conflict. That's actually why Qin Xiu called her father and filled him in on the situation. Lu Fan responds, saying he has a feeling the princess won't let this go easily. Just then, Qin Shanhai walks in. He says he understands what's going on, but jokes that Lu Fan sure knows how to stir up trouble as soon as they meet. Lu Fan apologizes, explaining that this time, he can't really be blamed. The princess was at fault. Hanke asks Qin Shanhai how the incident will be handled. He explains that they've sent both the princess and Shui Hong Tai to the hospital and mentions that they'll need to provide an explanation to the Jin family. He adds that the Jin family isn't just involved in business. They also have considerable influence in the upper echelons of the Taizi kingdom. Hearing this, Hanko becomes concerned that Lu Fan might face punishment for hitting them. But Lu Fan, ever the confident one, replies that even if she has immense power, he's not going to compromise his dignity over a dragon egg. Qin Shanhai is impressed by Lu Fan's integrity and tells him he admires him. He assures Lu Fan that he doesn't have to worry too much. He'll ensure his safety. But, while casually smoking, he mentions that he can't do it alone and has a condition. Curious, Lu Fan asks, "What condition?" Pointing his cigarette at Lu Fan, Qin Shanhai says, "Achieve the position of South Province champion in the grand exam." He further explains that he'll do his best to keep the princess at bay until the exam is over. Hearing this, Qin Shio chimes in, pointing out that it won't be easy. There are countless top students in the entire South Province. Qin Shanhai adds, "But only if you surpass them and become the champion can I help you." Suddenly, Lu Fan gets a determined look on his face. He tells Qin Shanhai that he understands the situation and accepts the condition. Meanwhile, over at the hospital, the princess is fuming. She's pacing back and forth, angrily talking on the phone. She's yelling that Qin Shanhai is obviously favoring Lu Fan since he hasn't been caught yet. The person on the other end tries to calm her down, saying they'll contact high-level officials in the kingdom to resolve the situation. But she's not having it. She orders them to put pressure on the higher-ups, insisting it's her command. She angrily declares that she's going to make Lu Fan pay. Looks like she still hasn't learned her lesson. But honestly, with Lu Fan and his dragon companion around, I bet even her entire empire wouldn't stand a chance. The scene shifts to the next day at the third middle school, just before the grand exam. All the students are gathered, and the playground is buzzing with excitement. Everyone's checking out each other's levels and trying to form groups. Suddenly, the crowd notices Lu Fan walking back into school. Whispers ripple through the students. Some think he must have returned home to sell steamed buns. Others remark that even though Lu Fan was once a brilliant student, he's now considered a nobody, and no school wanted him. Yet here he is still participating in the exam. But little do they know, Lu Fan is not the same as before. Even though he feels a bit nostalgic hearing their gossip, he's too laid back to let it bother him. Suddenly, the headmaster's voice booms over the chatter, urging all the students to calm down. He announces that the South Province Grand Exam is about to begin. Lu Fan is standing amidst a sea of students, deep in thought. After leveling up to 15, he's realized that the treasure maps he's been receiving daily haven't been used yet. They're all intermediate level, and he's considering combining 3 of them into a high-level treasure map to help him prepare for the big exam. Lost in his musings, he suddenly snapped back to reality when someone calls his name. Turning around, he sees teacher Li approaching him. The teacher asks if Lu Fan is participating in the big exam. Lu Fan replies that he is and mentions he's been working hard to increase his strength. Impressed, teacher Li hands him a teleportation stone, praising his dedication. He tells Lu Fan that he believes in his fighting spirit and that it might rival that of other professionals. Lu Fan smiles and checks out the stone. It's of rare quality and has some nifty features. When used in the Trial Secret Realm, it teleports the user to the first floor of the Heavenly Tower. When used in the Heavenly Tower, it takes the user back to the Trial Secret Realm platform. After examining the stone, the teacher gives him a friendly warning. He reminds Lu Fan that professions are crucial in this world. Even though it's just an exam, a single mistake could lead to injury or worse. He advises Lu Fan to find a teammate for the trial and suggests using the teleportation stone to exit if things get too dicey. Lu Fan nods and assures him he'll be careful. As teacher Li walks away, some students start whispering about Lu Fan. They're doubting him, questioning his abilities. But Lu Fan isn't bothered. He's got bigger things on his mind. He knows that in team scenarios, scores are divided among members. But he doesn't just want to pass. He wants to ace the trial and secure the top spot, just as he promised Qin Shanhai. Just then, someone else calls out to him. He turns to see Qin Xiu approaching with another girl by her side. And who might this be? Potentially another addition to Lu Fan's circle. Lu Fan greets them and asks if the new girl is Qin Xiu's teammate. She introduces her as her best friend, Tao Xiaoman, a level 1 combat professional swordsman. Tao Xiaoman says hello, but before she can say more, Qin Xiu cuts to the chase. She asks Lu Fan if he'd like to team up with them for the trial. Tao Xiaoman is taken aback by the invitation, and to her surprise, Lu Fan politely declines. He explains that he's planning to participate solo. He appreciates Qin Xiu's offer, but mentions that he's set this challenge for himself. Waving goodbye, he tells them he's heading to the exam site. Qin Xiu looks a bit disappointed, missing out on the chance to team up with a guy she's clearly interested in. She wishes him luck, thinking that with his level of strength, anyone teaming up with him might actually hold him back. After Lu Fan leaves, Tao Xiaoman turns to Qin Xiu, puzzled. She asks why Qin Xiu would invite someone from the weakest profession to join them. Qin Xiu smiles and tells her that Lu Fan is stronger than he appears. In fact, she believes he'll be the top scorer in the southern province. Tao Xiaoman is shocked by this bold claim. She teases Qin Xiu, asking if she's falling in love with the dragon tamer himself. Blushing, Qin Xiu denies it, but her reddening cheeks give her away. Tao Xiaoman can't help but laugh, pointing out that her face tells a different story. Scene shift to the grand exam trial secret realm. Lu Fan walks through the portal like a total boss, thinking, this is where it all begins. Up on a big screen, Principal Bai Hongtu addresses the gathered students. He explains that the portals in the sky are divided into 4 levels: normal, hard, fear, and nightmare. When the portals open, selected candidates can enter the heavenly tower using the teleportation stone their teachers provided. Here's the breakdown. Normal level. Everything is a projection, so no fatal injuries. The score multiplier here is 0.9x. Hard level. From this level onward, the monsters are real. If students use the teleportation stone to exit safely, their scores will be saved. The score multiplier is 1.0x. Most students choose this level. Fear level. Monsters here are more ferocious. This realm isn't recommended for solo challengers. Principal Bai advises not to worry about sharing scores in a team. Safety first. The score multiplier is 3.0x. As he's explaining, someone bursts out laughing. Principal Bai, watch me. I'm going to set the highest score in the exam. The confident student is Hong Wu, a level 14 Qi Gong master with a hidden profession. Tao Xiaoman is watching Hong Wu with awe. She mentions that he's the number 1 expert at number 1 middle school and ranks in the top 5 in the entire province. Qin Xiu chimes in, explaining that being a Qigong master makes him incredibly versatile, great at both attacking and defending. She notes that he's planning to challenge the hard realm solo. Hearing Hong Wu's bold declaration, other students start to feel a bit doomed. They think they can only aim for lower rankings now. Some even regret not choosing an easier difficulty level, realizing they're no match for Hong Wu. The scene shifts to Principal Bai Hongtu's office, where multiple screens display all the students' progress. The principal of number 1 middle school, sitting beside Bai Hongtu, starts laughing. He's boasting that Hong Wu is the most formidable student at their school and that it's a sure win for him to become the top scorer. He even mentions that Qin Xiu is pretty impressive and should be among the top 3 rankers. Principal Bai Hongtu, however, feels a bit wistful. He thinks that if Lu Fan had awakened to another hidden profession, he might have taken first place. Lost in his thoughts, he's interrupted by Qin Shanhai, who mentions he has a promising candidate in mind for the top spot and is quite optimistic about him. Curious, the principal of number 1 high school asks who he's referring to. Qin Shanhai reveals it's Lu Fan, the dragon tamer from number 3 school. This revelation leaves Principal Bai Hongtu stunned. The principal of number 1 school points out that all the students have already entered the tower, but Lu Fan hasn't gone into the heavenly tower yet. He laughs, questioning if Lu Fan is giving up on the exam. He dismisses Qin Shanhai's suggestion, asking what could be expected from a dragon tamer. Pointing to the scoreboard, he notes that Hong Wu is already on the 4th floor and ranked 1st. Suddenly, Principal Bai Hongtu notices something. With a shocked expression, he realizes that Lu Fan isn't giving up. He's waiting for the last difficulty level portal to appear. He's choosing the Nightmare Trial. The Nightmare Trial is a one-way trip, and the principal of number 1 school shouts that this student is way too overconfident. The Nightmare Trial portal appears in the sky, and the score multiplier is a whopping 9.9x. Lu Fan prepares to enter the trial realm, while the principal of number 1 school is freaking out, urging Principal Bai Hongtu to stop him, claiming he'll die in there. But Lu Fan enters the trial with a confident smile. Principal Bai Hongtu is concerned, mentioning that no one who's challenged the Nightmare Trial has come back intact. The last person who attempted it was 8 years ago, and he was eaten by a ferocious beast, a miserable death. The principal of number 1 school questions whether Lu Fan was properly educated about the exam rules. He declares that this dragon tamer is doomed for sure, and even suggests that Qin Shanhai's judgment might need improvement, stating that Lu Fan can't be compared to Hongwu at all. Qin Shanhai just winks and suggests they focus on the performance of their talented Qi Gong master. He adds that it's still too early to draw conclusions and that they should observe a little longer without making snap judgments. Principal Bai Hongtu asks Qin Shanhai why he trusts Lu Fan so much. Meanwhile, as they're discussing, Lu Fan enters the first floor of the nightmare trial. Almost immediately, a massive paw steps toward him out of the dense fog. Red eyes glare at him from all directions. He's surrounded by monsters in an instant. Lu Fan quickly pulls out his big black machete and takes a defensive stance. He thinks to himself that, based on his knowledge, there should be at least 10 monsters around. From the fog, a pack of black wolves emerges. They're level 10, and their bite attack causes continuous bleeding damage. They also have a skill called Night Howl, which increases all attributes of their allies and resets all skill cooldowns. The wolves roar at Lu Fan and leap toward him. But maintaining his cool demeanor, Lu Fan responds with Dragon Fang Strike. In just one attack, he slices all the wolves to a crisp. A notification announces that the Nightmare Trial Sky Tower's first floor is completed, and he instantly gains 990 points. Back in the control room, the principal of First Middle School is shocked. One-hit kill? What's the deal with this Lu Fan? He's ridiculously strong, he exclaims. He adds that Lu Fan's attributes are clearly above the level of his peers. Principal Bai Hongtu is equally stunned, wondering if Lu Fan has found the legendary dragon. With 990 points, Lu Fan instantly jumps to the second position on the scoreboard. So, in the surveillance room, the director of number 1 middle school and others are intently watching Lu Fan. They're all stunned that he defeated the Black Wolves with just one blow. Suddenly, someone walks into the room, a mysterious figure in a detective suit, one hand in their pocket and a briefcase in the other. They're wearing a cap and glasses, making it hard to see their face. This newcomer catches everyone's attention. Qin Shanhai turns his head and becomes instantly alert upon seeing him. The man introduces himself as Qian Xiong, a special representative from Long Du. He's there to investigate someone and take them back to Long Du, taking off his cap. He looks directly at Qin Shanhai and asks where the Dragon Master, Lu Fan, is. A stats window pops up, revealing that Qian Xiong is level 57 and specializes in combat. Meanwhile, back in the Nightmare Trial, Lu Fan is making his way through the first floor. He's using his big black machete to cut through vines, and he's got the system map open in his other hand. Feeling pretty good, he realizes he's found what he's been looking for. A system window informs him that he's reached the right spot on the treasure map. Another window tells him that a high-level treasure map has been created. Lu Fan can't help but feel excited. The high-level treasure map he made before entering the trial realm is on the first floor of the Heaven Tower. As he cuts through the thorny plants blocking his way, he comes across a book. Reaching out, he takes it. An alert window shows up on his screen, telling him he successfully acquired a skill book named Accelerated Growth. This book shines brilliantly, adorned with several gems on the cover. The stats window reveals that Accelerated Growth is an excellent skill book. It teaches a passive skill that speeds up growth. Once used, this skill allows pets to gain 100% more experience. Lu Fan opens the book right away. It emits strong energy that starts to surround his body. He gains the ability to grow faster as a result. He thinks to himself that this skill will be perfect for Xiao Yi, his dragon companion, who he felt was leveling up too slowly since they left the Morning Village. With this passive skill, she'll level up a lot faster. Back in the surveillance room, Principal Bai Hongtu, Qin Shanhai, and Qin Xiong are watching Lu Fan on the screen. Qin Xiong tells Principal Bai that since Lu Fan is a student at their school, they should immediately interrupt his trial and have him return. Principal Bai gives him a serious look, suggesting that it's best to wait until the students are done with their exams. He even offers to take responsibility for Lu Fan's actions, being in charge of the Third Institute. But Qin Xiong isn't having it. He says that while Principal Bai can take responsibility instead of Lu Fan, he can't get punished on his behalf. Confused, Principal Bai asks what punishment he's talking about. At this point, Qin Shanhai steps up to Qin Xiong, grabbing his arm and asking him to step back a bit, considering their old friendship. A man from number 1 middle school interjects, asking what Lu Fan has done. Qin Xiong pulls his arm away with a bit of force, leaving Qin Shanhai somewhat confused. With an angry look, he tells Qin Shanhai not to distract him while he's performing his task and requests that he not try to approach him again. He warns that if Qin Shanhai gets involved, the Jin family and the top-level members won't be happy. Even though he doesn't understand why Qin Shanhai is defending Lu Fan, Qin Shanhai just looks at him seriously and stays quiet. Qin Xiong pushes him back and asks if he gets the message. He then tells Principal Bai to bring Lu Fan immediately, saying he's busy. When Qin Shanhai refers to him as an old friend, Qin Xiong turns his head back upon hearing it. Qin Shanhai takes out a cigarette, lights it, and takes a puff. Their conversation hints at the close ties between important long-due officials and the Jin family, affecting both the Dragon Kingdom and the Taizi Kingdom, making things more complicated. Qin Shanhai tells everyone that the high-level officials and the Jin family won't matter once Lu Fan's secret comes out. He looks at Qin Xiong seriously and declares that no one can take Lu Fan away today. Qin Xiong gets really angry upon hearing this. He tells Qin Shanhai to stop talking nonsense because he doesn't think Lu Fan is hiding anything. He accuses Qin Shanhai of going too far and defying orders from an envoy. As Qin Xiong is about to turn around, Qin Shanhai grabs his arm again and says that even if he's going too far, he'll accept it. The tension between them escalates. A system window reveals that Qin Shanhai is a level 57 knight, and Qin Xiong is a level 57 swordsman. Qin Xiong replies angrily that he'll report Qin Shanhai's actions to the higher-ups in Longdu. Principal Bai Hongtu steps in, trying to calm them down. He reminds them that they must not disrupt the major exam. Qin Shanhai then poses a question to Qin Xiong, asking if he's not curious about Lu Fan's secret, one that could shock the higher-ups of Longdu and the Jin family. So, Qin Xiong just realized that Lu Fan is currently challenging the nightmare level of the trial. This revelation absolutely shocks him. He's questioning how Lu Fan dares to attempt such a difficult level and what's so special about him. Meanwhile, Lu Fan is standing in front of a massive gate, thinking about testing his limits by relying solely on himself. Now that he has this new passive skill, he figures it's a good idea to summon Xiao Yi early to gain more experience. He checks his status window, which now includes the growth acceleration skill. This awesome skill increases the experience gained by his pet by 100%. Not too shabby, right? Back in the surveillance room, the principal of the first school remarks to Qin Xiong, "Didn't you see him taking out multiple opponents in a single move earlier?" They're both amazed at Lu Fan's capabilities. At that moment, Lu Fan shouts, "Come out, Xiao Yi," and summons the Black Dragon. With a loud roar, Xiao Yi appears. Both the principal and Qin Xiong are utterly stunned by the sudden appearance of the dragon. Qin Xiong is at a loss for words. The only thing he can mutter is, This is a dragon." Xiao Yi then raises her claw and attacks the gate. Watching the dragon's power, Qin Shanhai is sweating bullets. Even though he's seen her before, witnessing her strength again is still shocking. In an instant, Xiao Yi completely destroys the gate, filling the entire area with rubble. Qin Shanhai turns to everyone and says, "Now you've seen Lu Fan's secret." Everyone in the room is in awe, sweating at the sheer power of the dragon. He points toward the screen and announces that Lu Fan is the only dragon tamer in history who has a real dragon. Principal Bai Hongtu is also stunned. The only words he can muster are, "Lu Fan really tamed a giant dragon." They continue watching the screen, which shows the Nightmare Trial's second floor. Xiao Yi is using her flame breath to burn everything in sight. Flames are everywhere. Lu Fan is effortlessly cutting down giant plant monsters. In no time, a notification announces that the second floor is cleared. Witnessing this, the principal of the first middle school thinks, "This is the power of the real dragon race." A class without the third transformation wouldn't stand a chance against him. Qin Xiong agrees, saying it's terrifying. He realizes that if the dragon levels up even more, it could potentially destroy an entire country on its own. They're both in shock at the dragon's tremendous power. With the completion of the second floor, Lu Fan takes the first place on the leaderboard with 50,000 points. In second place is Hong Wu with 27,550 points. And in third are Qin Xiao and Tao Xiaoman with 12,570 points each. Lu Fan keeps climbing the tower, easily conquering all the floors with Xiao Yi's help. The scene shifts to him on the 13th floor of the Nightmare Trial. Xiao Yi is relentlessly taking down monsters, while Lu Fan unleashes massive slashing attacks with his big black machete. He's eliminating beasts left and right without mercy. A notification pops up, informing him that the 13th floor is now cleared. Watching this, Principal Bai Hongtu wonders not only about the dragon, but also how Lu Fan has miraculously gained such strength. He guesses that Lu Fan's attributes must all exceed 100 at this point. He thinks that even without summoning the giant dragon, Lu Fan could easily rank first in Jianghai City. Back in the surveillance room, Qin Shanhai turns to Qian Xiong and asks, after witnessing how powerful a real dragon is, do you still want to bring Lu Fan in front of the higher-ups? Qian Xiong replies that now he understands why Qin Shanhai dares to oppose the Jin family. He's truly witnessed the power of a dragon today. Hearing this, Qin Shanhai says he'll send a video segment of Lu Fan's major exam to the teacher. From now on, there's no need for a special envoy to bother Lu Fan or the Jin family. He suggests that Qian Xiong should return. Qian Xiong asks, by teacher, you mean North Marquis Tu Jing? Qin Shanhai simply smiles in response. By this time, Lu Fan has already reached the 20th floor of the nightmare trial. He's standing in a dark corridor with a purple light at the end. The purple light moves toward him. It's a magic spell cast by a dark sacrifice, a level 15 enemy. The status window informs him that this foe has several abilities. Black Curse decreases all target attributes by 50% and increases all friendly target attributes by 25%. Merge into Darkness pulls itself and all allies into the shadows, becoming immune to all attacks for 15 seconds. Dark Control allows it to command the Dark Knights behind it, giving full control over them. Looking at all these enemies, Lu Fan thinks that with the accelerated growth effect, Xiao Yi should be close to leveling up. He orders Xiao Yi to use Lava Blaze. Xiao Yi starts charging up her Lava Blaze attack. In the next moment, she releases a massive burst of fire. The status window informs that the attack continuously spews flames forward, dealing damage while healing the dragon. Talk about multitasking. The entire floor gets covered in flames, and all the Dark Knights and menacing enemies are reduced to ashes. A notification pops up, informing that the 20th floor is now cleared. Several other notifications appear. The Black Dragon Xiao Yi has leveled up to 11. Lu Fan's own level has increased to 16. With the completion of the 20th floor, Lu Fan's score skyrockets, leaving other players far behind. He smiles and tells Xiao Yi, let's conquer the Heavenly Tower together. So, the scene shifts to a massive explosion on the 50th floor of the Fear Trial. Turns out, it's Hong Wu making waves. A new notification pops up, announcing that the 50th floor has been cleared. Hong Wu is feeling pretty smug, thinking to himself that this year's grand examination is exceptionally tough. He wonders why these monsters aren't on the 70th floor instead. Despite the challenge, he's convinced that he'll secure first place. He considers Qin Xiao his only real competition, but since she's in a team, her points will be halved. Confident as ever, he declares that the title of top scholar in the Southern Province examination is destined to be his. He even laughs and tells Principal Bai Hongtu to keep watching his performance, suggesting the principal should start contacting the heads of the top universities to prepare for his admission. Talk about delusional and self-centered, right? Little does he know, the principals in the office aren't even paying attention to him. They're all glued to Lu Fan's progress instead. Principal Bai Hongtu mentions that the 50th floor of the Heaven Tower is a significant hurdle. In the past, professionals from the Southern Province have always stumbled at this point. The principal of First Middle School adds that this level is a watershed moment. Even if Lu Fan passes this level, he expects Lu Fan's pace to slow down in the higher floors as the difficulty ramps up. Now, let's switch over to our main man, Lu Fan, who's standing on the 50th level of the Nightmare Trial. The area is covered in heavy snow, creating a tense atmosphere. Lu Fan is checking Xiao Yi's status window, and guess what? She's learned a new skill called Shape Transformation. This new ability allows her to change into 4 different forms. 1. Young Dragon Form. Increases all attributes and reduces consumption by 50%. 2. Dragon Maiden Form. This form is a result of the blood pact with Lu Fan. Honestly, I love this form. She should always stay in this one. It's definitely her main waifu form. 3. Destruction Dragon Open Form. Decreases strength by 50%, but increases spirit by 100%. In this form, she gains new skills like Daylight Incineration and Lava Eruption. 4. World-Ending Form. Reduces spirit by 50%, but increases strength by 100%. Skills acquired in this form include Earth Bend and fearful roar. While Lu Fan is busy checking out these awesome new abilities, the stones around him start to move. They form into massive creatures with glaring red eyes fixed on him. There are 3 monsters in total. The status window informs him that these entities are amethyst mountain giants, level 20. They have several skills. Mountain Arm deals massive frontal damage by swinging their rock arms. Landslide, probably not something you want to get caught in. Amethyst Rock reduces magic damage received by 50% and makes them immune to armor-piercing effects. Back in the surveillance room, Principal Bai Hong-tu is concerned. He wonders how Lu Fan is going to fight 3 nightmare-level bosses at the same time. The principal of First Middle School chimes in, saying he expected the 50th floor to slow down Lu Fan's rapid climb. He thinks Lu Fan's score is already high enough to place him first in Jianghai City. In his opinion, it's very likely that Lu Fan will become the top scholar of the Southern Province. He even laments, saying, "Why isn't such a promising student from our first middle school?" Gotta love that friendly rivalry. So, the scene shifts back to the 50th floor, where our boy Lu Fan is about to face off against some seriously tough monsters. The status window shows that the monsters are gearing up to use their Mountain's Arm attack. A powerful move heading straight for Lu Fan. But does he look worried? Not at all. He's thinking that now that he's halfway up the tower of the ladder, the difficulty has definitely ramped up from the previous floors. Since the challenges are getting tougher, he figures it's time to up his own game as well. Just as the massive attack is about to reach him, Xiaoyi steps in, blocking the incoming blow with her left hand. Lu Fan stands there in the midst of the chaos, not even breaking a sweat. He decides it's time to pull out all the stops and orders Xiaoyi to try out her World Ender form. She instantly roars in agreement, and in the next moment, her dragon body becomes enveloped in red flames. Watching this epic transformation, Principal Bai Hong-tu comments that Lu Fan is definitely up to something. As the dragon begins to emerge in her new form, everyone is in awe. And let me tell you, Xiaoyi's new form is seriously cool. Her entire body turns pitch black, and her eyes glow menacingly red. The system informs them about the successful transformation. Xiaoyi's strength skyrockets from 456 to 2,912, while her spirit decreases from 1,424 to 712. She also gains 2 new skills, Earth Shatterer and World Ending. Everyone in the monitoring room is amazed by the dragon's transformation. Principal Bai Hong-tu is stunned, questioning how this dragon can even switch combat forms. Qin Shanhai is equally surprised, admitting that such a transformation sends shivers down his spine. Back on the battlefield, Lu Fan is facing off against the monsters. One tries to attack him from behind, but he instantly senses it and effortlessly dodges by leaping into the air. He activates his Dragon Inspiration skill, which boosts all his and Xiaoyi's attributes in attack power by 10%. He then orders Xiaoyi to launch a mighty jaw assault on one of the monsters. In a flash, this causes massive damage to the entire area, opening up a large black pit into which the monster falls. The system announces that the black dragon has leveled up to level 12, and Lu Fan himself has leveled up to level 16. He's absolutely thrilled with this outcome, thinking that choosing the nightmare level was definitely the right choice. He realizes that as long as the difficulty continues to rise with each level, he'll keep getting stronger after clearing each one. A notification pops up, announcing that the 50th floor has been successfully conquered. Lu Fan starts walking toward the portal to head to the next floor, with Xiaoyi following right behind him. Back in the monitoring room, Qin Shanhai remarks that the so-called 50th floor watershed poses no difficulty for Lu Fan. The principal of First Middle School adds that the dragon's strength far exceeds his understanding. Principal Bai Hong-tu then turns to Special Envoy Qian Xiong, asking him, given his extensive experience in Dragon City, the X+1 mode was established by the scholar who first designed the trial. After the examinees pass the 50th floor, every floor filled with ordinary monsters is followed by a boss floor. This setup makes the trial more like a real secret realm, constantly putting the examinees in mortal danger. He continues, however, in the nightmare-level tower of the ladder, whether it's an X floor or a 1 floor, all have been replaced with nightmare-level bosses. And that's where we'll wrap things up for today. Things are getting insanely intense, and I can't wait to see how Lu Fan and Xiaoyi handle the upcoming challenges. Will they conquer the entire tower? Stay tuned to find out. If you're enjoying the recap, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more episodes. Drop a comment below on what you think will happen next. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.